Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I welcome you all once again to this evening's lecture on Bhagavad Gita and Karma Yoga. Shri Krishna was an incarnation of Sriman Narayana, and Krishna was the only incarnation who left a treasure of preachings for us. No other avatara of Sriman Narayana has preached at length a Shastra that could be a guiding light for all and for any time. Geetam means a song. Bhagavad Gita is a song or a collection of songs that were rendered by Shri Krishna. Bhagavan is Krishna himself, and he has preached Arjuna just before the beginning of the Mahabharata war. We had dealt with certain aspects of Shri Gita yesterday. Today, the topic for our discussion is choices in Karma Yoga. If you can slightly alter the words, you can also call it as Karma Yoga, the only choice. It is not only that Karma Yoga has many choices, it is also the only choice available for all human beings. We need to know a lot about Karma Yoga today. So first of all, I request you to be attentive on many aspects, because there may be some esoteric, difficult meanings, but once understood, they would certainly be enjoyable. Bhagavan's incarnations are not limited. Although we enjoy them as 10, as Dashavatara, they are innumerable. The Vedas say, Ajayamanaha Bahudha Vijayate. One who does not have a birth, who is never born or dead, Bahudha Vijayate. He takes birth countless number of times. That has been further established by Krishna in Gita. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna. Me janmani bahuni vyatitani. Many births have passed for me, Arjuna, as they are for you too. Arjuna has also taken births many times. So has Krishna. But the difference is, Krishna knows all his births, he remembers them, and he knows the purpose for which he is born. Whereas we do not remember our earlier births. Rather, we do not even remember what we did at the age of 3, 4 or 5. We are forgetful. Whereas Krishna remembers the purpose of his birth, all his births, and anyone who remembers the births of Krishna gets liberated. Thus, even though Krishna is born many times, we, to know about him with our finite, limited knowledge, the Purvacharyas limited the avatarams as Dashavatara. So, it is for easier apprehension by the human beings, easier accomplishment by us. Given the nature of Bhagavan, he incarnates many times. Alvar in Tamil Pashuram says that Shanmam Palapala Seidu. Palapala would stand for countless. Shanmam Palapala Seidu. He is born many times. He is born to preach again and again. But Krishna Avatara was the complete Avatara which preached all that is required for us. With those collection of songs, we will mainly concentrate on 2nd, 3rd and 4th chapter for our discussion today. From chapter 2 to 6, Krishna deals with karma and jnana yoga, which are the means for Atma Sakshatkara. Realizing one's Atman, visualizing the essential nature of the Atman, and enjoying the Atman. So these are the purposes for the first hexad. Gita can be classified into 3 hexads: Prathama Shatka, Madhyama Shatka, Charama Shatka. Shatka comprises of 6 chapters. Prathama Shatka, Madhyama Shatka, Charama Shatka. The first 6 chapters, the second 6 chapters, and the final 6 chapters. So in the first 6 chapters, Krishna dwelled on Atma Sakshatkara, that is realizing oneself. And the purpose of this, the accomplishment is Atmanubhava. One enjoys oneself. One engages in the enjoyment of Atma. The means available for that is Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. So, if you weigh Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, what would you prefer? Which one would you choose? Krishna tells Arjuna to choose Karma Yoga, whereas Arjuna wants to choose Jnana Yoga. Why so? Jnana Yoga is Nivritti Marga. Karma Yoga is Pravritti Marga. You need to act a lot, do a lot in Karma Yoga. But in Jnana Yoga, you have to abstain and meditate, not do anything. Arjuna does not want to fight this battle. So, he thought Jnana Yoga is convenient to him. He found it more comfortable. So, Arjuna pleaded, let me perform Jnana Yoga. Let me go to the forest and be secluded from this material world. I will start meditating. Whereas Krishna says that he advocates Karma Yoga. The way he was spoken on behalf of Karma Yoga, not any attorney could talk so. He said, he is the one who propounded Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Nama Sankirtana, Sharanagati, Prapatti, what not. But forgetting all those, he is only talking about Karma Yoga in the first 6 chapters. Not only talking, he condemns Jnana Yoga to the extent possible. Don't know why, but still Krishna does it. He wanted Arjuna to only follow Karma Yoga. Whenever you want to sell your product, one, you need to talk about the greatness, the glory of your product. At the same time, condemn the next shop. That's also very important. And the kadaila apple, in the kadaila apple na, ye apple, ooty apple, adi engendo vandadu. Appdin solnu. Unless you say so, the customer won't turn his face to you. So Krishna is trying to sell his apple, which is Karma Yoga. And so he condemns Jnana Yoga. Why? And what is the difference between these two? Why Krishna advocates Karma Yoga? How is it relevant to our daily life? That is what we will discuss today. Before I start, we must understand the difference between Karma, Karma Yoga, and Nitya Naimittika Kamya Karma. I'll first introduce you to this. Karma, what does it mean? Karma Yoga, what does that mean? Nitya Naimittika Karma, what does that mean? All these words look alike, look synonymous, whereas they are not so. All are attached with actions, that much is common. Whatever you do is karma. When you mention the word karma, does it stand for the actions which you do, or does it stand for papam and punyam? We have been using this in both instances. When I say papa punyam, we call it as karma, anadikala karma, and the effect of it is I am suffering today. So that in that usage, the word karma stands for papam and punyam. Whereas I do something, why don't you do your karma? That does not mean, why don't you do your papam or punyam? In this usage, when I say do your karma, karmanyeva adhikaraste, you have a right to only perform your karma. Krishna is not telling Arjuna that you have a right only to perform papam or punyam. He doesn't mean that. So, in this usage, karma stands for prescribed action, prescribed duties. I am prescribed to do something. So, the word karma here stands for doing our prescribed duty. So, the one word karma can have two usages. One, doing my prescribed duty. Two, papam and punyam. Let us try and relate them now. There is a subtle relationship. That is an underlying line which connects both. If you do your karma, which is your prescribed duty, then you get papam, you get punyam. If you abstain from doing your prescribed duty, you accumulate papa. That is how they get related. So karma can be related. Both the meanings can be related. You do your duty rightly, then you accumulate punyam. You abstain from your duty. It's known as kritya akarana and akritya karana. Whatever you are told to do, if you abstain, that is papa. That is kritya akarana. Whatever I ought to have done, I don't. So that is kritya akarana. Akritya karana. Whatever I ought not to have done, I do. That is akritya karana. Kritya akarana, akritya karana. When Bhagavad Ramanuja wholeheartedly surrendered on a Pangunyuttaram day to Sri Mahalakshmi and Sriman Narayana at Srirangam, he pleads to them. He pleads to the Lord to forgive him. I am laden with so many papams. Akritya karana, kritya akarana, Bhagavad apachara, Bhagavata apachara, Asahya apachara, Kritanu, Kriyamananu, Karishyamanaan. He lists 8 and finally adds all the more which I have not listed. He had already listed 8. Kritya akarana, akritya karana. What is not to be, I do. What I should, I abstain. Kritan, whatever I have done in the past. Kriyamanan, whatever I continue doing presently. Karishyamanaan, whatever I am going to do in the future. Kritan, Kriyamanan, Karishyamanaan. Bhagavadapachara, Bhagavatapachara, Asahyapachara. I offend Bhagavan himself. I offend his devotees. I offend the preceptors. Bhagavadapachara, Bhagavatapachara, Asahyapachara. I offend someone for no reason. Asahyapachara can easily be understood. That's what we often commit in our daily life. We don't know the reason. For no reason, we don't like somebody. For no reason, we hate somebody. So, without reason, you hate. Without reason, you offend. That's known as Asahyapachara. I cannot tolerate him. Why can't you tolerate him? I do not know. By the look of his face, I can't tolerate him. I would not have been related to him at all. I would have met him for the first time. But still, somehow or other, I don't like him. This is Asahyapachara. Kritanu, Kriyamananu, Karishyamanaanu. Bhagavadapachara, Bhagavatapachara, Asahyapachara, Akritya karana, Kritya akarana. All these are done by us. We continue doing the same. So Ramanuja pleaded to Sri Ranganatha to forgive him for all this. And in spite of all these flaws, why don't you grant me moksha? This was the plea of Bhagavad Ramanuja. So we have all this. This is all karma. Karma born out of our action, which is again karma. So our karma is a set of action. It should be our prescribed duty. If you do not, then it turns out to be a punya karma or a papa karma. Punya and papa karma is ever along with us. They don't go. There is one doubt. When did all this karma begin? Was there a day? There was a day when this world got created. Was there a day when I got created? Atmans were never created because Atma is eternal. Paramatma is eternal. They never got created. If so, when did this all papams begin? There should be a day. In whichever birth, I'm not talking only about this birth, but some birth or the other, they should all have begun. No, they do not. Logically, let me prove something. In logic, you would have heard about major premise, minor premise, and inference. Major premise is the first statement. Minor premise is the second statement. Third statement is the conclusion. When you have two premises, there has to be a conclusion. Pino devadattaha divana bhumte. I'll give you an example. Pino devadattaha. Devadatta is stout. Pino devadattaha. Divana bhumte. But he never eats anything during the day. Pino devadattaha. Devadatta is very, very heavy. But he never eats anything during the day. What can be the conclusion? We have two premises now. Pino devadattaha. Second, divana bhumte. Then the third conclusion has to be, he eats equally in the night. If he does not eat anything in the morning. But yet, if he is too heavy, then he must consume only in the night. This is the conclusion. Similarly, let us go to this conclusion. We have lot of karmas. This karma, when did they all begin? They did not begin at all. Why so? If a human being, if an Atman, forget human being, if an Atman has to live in this samsara, then there needs to be a cost. Cause. Without a cause, there cannot be any effect. Effect is Atman is undergoing cycles of birth in this samsara. So Atman is born in this samsara. Second premise, Atman is eternal. He cannot be created. He cannot be destroyed. Because Krishna says, Nainam Chindanti Shastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavakaha. We would all agree that insentient get created, but not the sentient Atman. Atmans live in samsara. They were never created, so they have been eternally living. What is the cause for their living? Why do they live? Why do they take birth? Karma is the cause for their birth. Whether papa or punya, as an effect, consequential to the karma, they take birth. So, but for karma, they cannot live here. So, the third premise is, Jivatmas live here caused by karma. Let's come to the next. Then, when did all this karma begin? If karma began on a particular day, then the Atmans would have started living in this material world only from that day. If there was a day when Jivatma did not have any karma, then he could not have lived on that day in this samsara. That's what we agreed just now. What we presumed was, if one has to live in this material world, the only cause is karma. Without that, I cannot live. And that can be otherwise even proved. The day I exhaust my karma, I leave this material world and reach the eternal world Vaikuntha. So there is a proof other way around now. You can work in arithmetic. You can work a sum in two ways. If you need to prove a theory or a theorem, one way you can start working and arrive at the answer. There is another way to it, what we call as LHS and RHS. This is left hand side and right hand side. You start working the theory. You deduce it to an extent. You can't go further. You work the theory in the right hand side. If these two equal, then the theorem is proved. LHS equals RHS. I hope you remember that. So, there is a way to prove this. Now, if we prove that, what can we assume here? There is a day when we exhaust, and on that day, we leave this material world. So, to live here, we need karma. Without karma, we can't live here. When did we start living? Eternally. We never started on any particular day. We have been living for long. If you need to live, then you need karma. Was the Atma created any day? No. So, was he living in Shiva Vaikuntham and then did he descend here? No. In which case, karma has got to be anadi. There is no other go. Because we have been living here for time immemorial. So, your karma should also be time immemorial. If there was a day when karma began, then that would have been the day when we started living in this samsara. If that was the day we started living, before that we should not be existent. If there was a day when I was not existent, then the assumption that Atman is eternal will go wrong. That would become a fallacy, which cannot. அதனால தான் நேத்தே சொன்னேன். இது பார்த்தாலே ரொம்ப கிளாஸ் ரூம் மாதிரி இருக்கு. அதனால நம்ம கிளாஸ் ரூம் ஆட்டம் பாடம் எடுத்தா நல்லா தான் இருக்கும். We have been taught in a classroom. So, but we don't get much chance to talk a classroom session. நமக்கு வந்து உபன்யாசத்துக்கு there are many people who come to attend and the average age is ever 67 or 70. ஆனால் இதை பத்தி எல்லாம் பேசுறதுக்கே முடியறது இல்லை. ஏதோ பேசிட்டு போடுவோம். Fortunately, I see some youngsters here. So it is better we conduct a classroom session. You have a pad, you have a pen. There is also a board. If need be, we can very well explain. If you don't understand it rightly, I can very well explain to you. Because this is one chance which we won't get in India. ஆனால் இங்கே கிடைச்ச சான்ஸையான உபயோகப்படுத்திக்கிறேன். So if you prove this premise, it can be proved that when we exhaust this karma, we reach moksha. But this karma did not begin on a particular day. It had been with us all along because I played at the end. Because we have been living here all along, and to live, we need karma. Anale karmamnu parthal, what a set of action, and with those karmas, it results in papa or punya. So papa punyam are also termed as karma. My actions can also be called as karma. These karmas lead to these karmas. So the result, the cause and the result, I am living here. So as I live here, there are a lot of karmas. Karmas can be classified again into two. I'll introduce you. Another technical term. One is known as Sanchita karma and the other set is known as Prarabdha karma. Sanchita karma is saved karma. Prarabdha karma is that karma which has started yielding result. I have started experiencing pain or pleasure as a result of karma. What is the effect of karma? Birth. There is a common belief that for a punya karma, I enjoy pleasure. For a papa karma, I enjoy pain, which is not so. I'll explain to you why. I had some balance in the bank. I went to a mall. I bought something. Will the balance go down or not? It will reduce. I had some balance in the bank. I went to the mall. I bought something. The balance reduced. Did I go to the mall and buy a product because I had bank balance? Or as I bought a product, my bank balance reduced? I had some bank balance. Did I go to the mall and buy as I had some bank balance? Or since I bought, did it reduce? If for having bank balance I went to the mall, I could have gone yesterday. I could have gone day before, which I did not. So having the bank balance did not result in going to the mall. But without a bank balance, you cannot go to the mall. That's also true. But just because I had a bank balance, I did not go to the mall. Is that right? Secondly, having gone to the mall, if I spend, my bank balance, of course, will reduce. So I have a bank balance. I went to the mall, not because only that I had a bank balance, but also because I had a bank balance. In the mall, I spent something, I bought something, then my balance reduces. Keep this example in your mind. Let us relate it to karma. I have Sanchita karma, which is my bank balance. Big balance, but a debit balance. It's not a credit balance. I have a large Sanchita karma, and due to that karma, I am born. Having born, I experience pain or pleasure. On experiencing pain or pleasure, my balance reduces. My balance is already punyam and papam. Now I experience pleasure. My balance of punyam reduces. I experience pain. My balance of papam reduces. And they cannot be set off. In income tax, there are some set off provisions which are not available here. All papams have to be experienced. All punyams have to be experienced. But if you have lot of punyams, that may to an extent nullify, soothen the effect. If you are in pain too much, if you are in agony, if you are in misery, then the punyams will of course help you so that to mitigate your losses, to mitigate your pain. So this karma, as a result of this karma, I take birth. Having taken this birth, in this samsara, there are many pains and pleasures will alternate. Not that for this punya karma, I experience this pleasure. For a particular papa karma, I experience this pain. It is not so. It's not a valid statement. Instead, as a consequence of papam and punyam, I am born. As I am born, there are many pain and pleasures in this world. I experience. As I experience, my bank balance goes down. My papam and punyam goes down. It is not that as a result of papa punyam, I directly experience pain or pleasure. As a result of papam and punyam, I am given a birth. As I am born in this samsara, there is no other way than me to experience pain or pleasure. So in the equation, so I have papam and punyam, that's why I am born. Like, I had a bank balance, that's why I could enter a mall. Having entered a mall, you can't relate. I buy a tape recorder because I had $25 in the bank. I had $100. I bought something else. I had $25. I bought a tape recorder. I got $1,000. I bought a mobile phone. It's not like that. So you don't relate, or you don't allot this bank balance to any product. You buy many, and consequently your bank balance goes down. Similarly, as a result of my punya and papa karma, I am born. As I am born, I experience pain and pleasure. As I experience, my account goes down. This is what happens. But the account should someday become zero. That never becomes zero. It keeps on accumulating. So one is Sanchita karma, which is my saved karma. We are not born here as a result of Sanchita karma. there is another set. A set that is drawn from Sanchita karma, which is prarabdha karma. Arabdha, that which has begun. Prarabdha, that which has begun well. Prarabdha karma, these karmas have started to yield results. That is, they have started to make me take birth. That is prarabdha karma. To exhaust a set of prarabdha karmas might take many births. I cannot exhaust a set in one birth. It may take 10 or 20 or 200 births even. Having exhausted them, I am back to square one. Bhagavan withdraws some more from the Sanchita karma and makes me take birth again. So I need to exhaust the prarabdha karma, which have started yielding results. Once I exhaust them, then again prarabdha karma. Once I exhaust them, then again prarabdha karma. When I am born as a result of prarabdha karma, I do many actions. I do some, I don't do some. As a result of these do's and don'ts, they get compared to the prescription in the Shastra. Whatever the Shastra say to do, I do, it's punyam. Whatever the Shastra says not to do, I do, that is papam. So this papam and punyam, they are not added to the current prarabdha karma. They are directly credited or debited to your Sanchita karma. They go there. So, as and when you draw stock from them, they are more replenished. This is a simple go-down theory. When you maintain stock, when you maintain inventory, as and when it goes, it should not deplete. People say that you have a reorder level. On that reorder level, you should order again, replenish your stock. We are the best one to follow that. Whenever Bhagavan draws 10, we replenish 20. Another stock ஏறிண்டே போகும். ஸ்டாக் குறையறதுக்கு வழியே கிடையாது. அவர் கொஞ்சம் எடுத்து பிராரப்த கர்மான்னு கொடுத்தா, we do more, we commit more. So this is Sanchita and Prarabdha. When will this cycle end? There is an end to all karma. There is no beginning to karma, but certainly there is an end to karma. You may have a question. Anything that has a beginning can only end. As karma is ending, it must have a beginning. This may sound logical, but where is it said so? In science, can we find a place where it is said that anything that begins only can end, or anything that ends only can begin? If there is a statement, we will search. We will have to debate on that point. Because Shastra talk about Satkaryavada. Satkaryavada is anything is born out of an existing object only. You have a matter. Matter only gives birth to another. Never anything is born out of nothing. Something is born out of something. Anything is born out of something. Whereas, you can't say that something is born out of nothing. Nothing lerundu onu perakave mudiyadu. Asathilerundu sattu perakadu. Sathilerundu dhaan sattu perakkum. For example, you have a lot of tables here. Many chairs. If you destroy them, if you damage them, what would happen to them? They may turn to some pieces. Further, if you pound them, they may become wooden pieces. Further, if you pound them, you talk about plastic, which is totally non-biodegradable. It doesn't degrade at all. Now you come to all the temples in Tamil Nadu, board potukan. Plastic upayogapaduthadirgal because it's not biodegradable. They are not able to recycle it since it's never get destroyed. Adilerne nam onu therinjikkanum. Whether insentient or sentient of Paramatma, all three are always existing. They cannot be destroyed. But the problem with insentient is they keep on transforming. They don't remain in the same state. They keep changing. Whereas the sentient Atma never changes state. When we talk about chemistry, about the metals in chemistry, about all the elements in chemistry, we talk about camphor, which changes state. It never goes to the second state. It goes to the third state. It is a solid. It never becomes a liquid, but it turns to be a gas. But still it changes state. எந்த ஸ்டேட் மாறினாலும் மாறிண்டே இருக்குமே தவிர you cannot absolutely destroy matter. If you destroy, then you cannot create anything. You can neither destroy nor anything is born out of non-matter. It has to be a matter. Matter only gives birth to another matter. Non-matter cannot produce anything. Anale, all insentient beings also, they have been ever existing. Apdi ever existing irukirche, when things are ever existing, they don't end nu solrom. They end nu solrom. You have to agree this with karma. Karma ever existed. At the same time, they can change. They keep on changing. Karma is not the same set of karma. It changes. But You need to be careful there. This tape recorder, if it changes for all. If this plastic basket, if it changes, this changes for all. But if karma changes, that is specific to the individual. The karma is always specific to the individual. If he by his action changes his karmas, that will not change for me. My set of karmas is different. Your set is different. For every individual, it keeps changing. That is a very complex matrix which Bhagavan maintains in his Hridaya Kamala. He maintains it with him. You, for instance, if I perform something, I do something, I get a punya. Will it be credited to your account? If you do something, will I be debited? I will not. Then it will become chaotic in this world. Bhagavan never accepts that to happen. He never allows that. Even in our bank account, if you deposit something, at times it will be credited to somebody else. At times, someone else's deposit would be credited to me. உடனே செக் புக் எடுத்து எடுத்துன்னு வந்துட்டா காசு நம்மளுதா இருக்கும். ஏன்னா அது ஏதோ 10 நிமிஷம் கிரெடிட் பண்ணிருப்பான், அவன் கண்டுபிடிக்கிறதுக்குள்ள நம்ம எடுத்துன்னு வந்துடணும் இல்லையா? விளையாடுச்சு எடுத்துன்னு வராதீங்க. ஈவன் இஃப் யூ ஃபைண்ட் தட் என்ட்ரி, ப்ளீஸ் கோ அண்ட் டெல் த டெல்லர் திஸ் இஸ் நாட் மை கிரெடிட், கைண்ட்லி. ஏன்னா இஃப் யூ அக்செப்ட் திஸ், அதே மாதிரி மற்ற பேருடைய டெபிட் பாவம்லாம் எனக்கு வந்ததுன்னா why get into that agony? அதனால it is mine. If I do something, I get papam and punyam. In this context, is it a valid statement that whatever the parents did affect the children? இது சொல்ற முடியும். அப்போ அப்பா அம்மா பண்ணது குழந்தைகளை அஃபெக்ட் பண்ணுமான்னு கேட்கறமே, பண்ணக்கூடாது. அப்படி பண்ணால் you will have lot of questions unreplied. It's not possible. You can't reply many questions. Then you would start telling that I will do this, let him be credited. Let him do that, I will be credited. Then there will be no cause and effect relationship at all. That will be confusing in this world. It is me who has to do and me who has to reap the benefit. So I do and I experience. I don't, I experience. Then is this statement valid or not? That parents panna tappu, namma pannumnal tappungirudille. If they have acted in such a manner, papam or punyam, it is their influence. It is their influence that is persistent in that family. And that influence may misguide the family. அவ்வளவுதான் சொல்லலாமே தவிர, it is not that they do something. இது பித்ரு சாபம், ஆனாலும் நான் ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்படுறேன்னு பாருங்க. First understand that our பித்ருக்கள், our forefathers are all full of compassion. சாபம்லாம் போடவே மாட்டான். ஏன்னா அவா குழந்தை நன்னா இருக்கணும்னு அவளுக்கு ஆசை இருக்காது. இது எதுக்கு தாத்தா பாட்டி சாபம் போட்டா நம்ம இந்த மாதிரி இருக்க போறோம்? நம்ம கர்மா நாம் அனுபவிக்கிறோம். It is my karma which I experience. Let me not pass the blame on someone else. If I lead a right life, many things are very logical in Shastra. Let us not make them illogical. Shastram is such a logical statement which any scientist will accept. But if we for our own private agenda, we mediate all these things, then Shastra would not be valid at all. So the right way to interpret is logical only. Anale, if you find a statement, if there is a birth, only there can be a death. Take the case of a child. A child is born and he grows older. At 80, he is dead. If I say the child was never born, but at 80 he died, will it be valid? It won't be. In which case, only that is born can die. Similarly, you take the same instance. If you superimpose that, only if karma was born on a particular day, it can end on another day. குழந்தை பிறந்திருந்தா தானே போகும். வயசாகி போறது, குழந்தையா போறது இல்ல. பட் குழந்தைக்கு வயசான அப்புறம் போயிடுறது இல்லையோ? அதே போல karma should be born someday ன்னு நமக்கு தோணும். Now, this child even was not born on that particular day. This child only transformed. In some form or other, the child was existing. It was existing as a fetus. It was existing as genes. It was existing as energy in a male and female. It was existing as paddy. It was existing as in a field. It was existing as water. All these together, it joined, and during copulation, it transformed. That is what happened. And in that transformed body, an Atman enters. Atman is again not born. It is only the body that transferred. And this body was existing in some other form. It was not born again. Adanale, we can't prove that this body is born on that particular date. Nama Atma perakkardu erakkardu. What does it mean? Atma is assuming a body. Atma is renouncing a body. It means that it is your samshlesha or vishlesha with a deha. Atma assumes a body. We say it is born, but it is not created. Birth is not creation at all. Nothing afresh can be created. Whatever existed, they only transformed. Anale, let's not search for a theory, let's not search for a logic that only that which is born can be destroyed. Only that which is destroyed is born. Nothing of that sort. Because everything keeps only changing. It is matter, matter transforms. ஒரு பானை பண்றேன், மண்ணா இருந்தது, ஜலத்தை சேர்த்தேன், களிமண்ணாச்சு, களிமண்ண சக்கரத்துல வச்சேன், 2 மடக்காச்சு, மடக்க சேர்த்தேன், பானையாச்சு, பானையை உடைச்சேன், மடக்காச்சு, இன்னும் உடைச்சேன், சூர்ண பொடியாச்சு, இன்னும் உடைச்சேன், மண்ணோட மண்ணா போச்சு. எங்கேயுமே போலியே. It's all changing. It's a size. Asti, jayate, parinamate, vivarthate, apakshiyate, vinashyati. This is known as Shat Bhava Vikara. These are the 6 transformations which everyone undergoes, but not an Atman. Atman never undergoes this, whereas other all matters they undergo. Asti, it is. Jayate, it's born. Parinamate, it changes. Vivarthate, it grows. Apakshiyate, it diminishes. Vinashyati, it's lost. So, in the Aru, Vikaram is inevitable to every matter. Whereas this Atma, it's not Prakritam. Anything which is a product of the primordial nature is Prakritam. The primordial nature with which Bhagavan creates this material world, that's known as Prakriti. Any product of Prakriti is Prakritam. This body is Prakritam. It's a product of Prakriti. Atman is not Prakritam. It is not a product of Prakriti. It is Aprakritam. Prakrita and Aprakrita. So this Atman only assumes a body. Why does it assume? To spend its Papam and Punyam. Consequent to the Papam and Punyam, which can be termed as Prarabdha Karma, we are born. And by the time we exhaust, we earn more. Whatever we earn, they get credited to Sanchita Karma. So this is a cycle. Let's first understand rightly this cycle. Whatever doubts you have, kindly note down. I'll certainly clarify at the end of this lecture session. This is Karma. Now let's go to what is Nitya Naimittika Kamya Karma. We have only defined and explained what Karma is. Let's further progress. Nitya Naimittika Kamya Karma. I told you, I have a set of prescribed karmas, set of actions which I am supposed to do, which I am not supposed to do. They can be classified as Nitya Karma, Naimittika Karma and Kamya Karma. Nitya Karma is my daily routine, what I am supposed to do daily. Come what may, I have to do. Nitya Karma. Naimittika Karma, on certain days when something happens. Naimittika is a cause. So this karma is based on a cause. For example, Naimittika, when there is an eclipse, I perform Tarpana. So the Tarpana is based on the happening of an eclipse, which is Naimittika Karma. Nitya Karma is Sandhyavandanam. I perform Sandhyavandanam every day. That's Nitya Karma. I perform on an eclipse day Tarpanam. That is Naimittika Karma. Kamya Karma. With a view to get a child, I perform Putra Kameti Yaga. With a view to get lot of wealth, I perform a Yaga, Vayavya Yaga. With a goal that I kill my enemy, I perform Shena Yaga. With a goal to reach Swargaloka, I perform Jyotirtoma Yaga. These are all called as Kamya Karma. Kamyam is desire. It is wish. Kamya Karma. I do this wishing for something, for a low human end. That does not talk about Mokshananda. It only talks about low human ends. So, Kamya Karma, Nitya Karma, Naimittika Karma, Kamya Karma. One cannot abstain or one cannot forget Nitya Karma, Naimittika Karma. They have to be done. And the surprising factor about Nitya Karma is, having done that, I won't get any punyam. But if I abstain, I would get papam. Nitya Karma Anusthanathila or problem hai, I need to do them, but for having done them, I don't get rewarded. For not doing them, I get punished. So the only reward can be avoiding your punishment. So there is a reward. But the reward is you can avoid your punishment. If you go to office, I went to office, the office. A person's office is in Paris corner, whereas he lives away from Tambaram. So long. He travels a lot. It's a government office. Morning he starts at 9 a.m. He takes his lunch packet. By the time he reaches, it is 12 noon. He didn't attend at 10 a.m. It was 12 noon. He was feeling very, very hungry. So he had his lunch. It was about 2. Gossip alam pannittu lunch saaptu mudikiche 2. 2 to 3 he worked. And he has to reach home by 6. So he left at 3. He reached back home at 6 p.m. Come first, the next month on 1st, he went and asked for salary. The manager told him, you never work. How can I pay you salary? He said, I want this salary for having come to work, not to work. To work, I'll take a second salary. For having come to work, I should be paid. Will you be paid? For you are given an appointment, you need to come to work. As you have been given an appointment, you are working. For working, you are paid salary, not for just coming. So you took birth in this samsara, you need to do certain karmas. Having been born in this samsara, you need to do, but you won't be paid for them. If you don't attend office, you won't get salary. So if you don't perform your nitya karma, you will only get papam. Pratyavayona drishyate. If you do this, then there is no punyam. If you don't, then there is papam. So the only effect, the only reward is that I can avoid punishment. I can avoid papam. This is natya karma. Naimittika karma, that also needs to be done. Kamya karma, we need to abstain. Kamya karma, ellaru pannirpa. Now Krishna in Karma Yoga says how to abstain from Kamya karma. Arjuna is very, very skeptical. He didn't accept it in the first case at all. He argued a lot with Krishna because the same name, the Kamya karma, they are also mentioned in the same Shastra which specify your Nitya karma, which specify your Naimitya karma. Your Shastra only tell us to perform Putra Kameti Yaga to get a son. That's what Dasharatha did. Your Shastra only tell you to perform Vayavya Yaga. Vayavyam Shoyatam Alabheta Puti Kamaha. If you perform Vayavya Yaga, all the wealth in this world will be at your home. That's what the Shastra says. Shvetam Alabheta Puti Kamaha. Vayurve Kshabitta Devata. Vayu is a very powerful god. When there is a big storm, all the Kupashate, whatever dirt is accumulated throughout the road, does it not come to your home? Adepola, you perform Vayavya Yaga, all the wealth with everybody will all reach you. This is the effect of Vayavya Yaga. Shena Yaga. Shena is an eagle. And it can sight very minute objects that's on earth. ஒரு குழந்தை கையில ஸ்வீட் வச்சுட்டு இருக்கு, ஆகாசத்துல இருக்கிற eagle is rightly able to pounce and take the sweet away. Similarly, if I perform Shena Yaga, then I can kill my enemy. Heard? சாஸ்திரம் தான் சொல்லியிருக்கிறது. வாயவ்ய யாகம் பண்ணா பணம் கிடைக்கும், சேன யாகம் பண்ணா எதிரிகள்லாம் போடுவா, புத்திரகாமேட்டி யாகம் பண்ணா புத்திரம் கிடைக்கும். Then Jyotishtomena Swarga Kamoya Jeta. You perform Jyotishtoma Yaga, you can reach Swargaloka. Yes, you can. You perform it rightly. Right earnestly you perform, you will reach there. Can I do all this? You can, provided you do not want to achieve Atma Sakshatkara. If your goal is that, then you have to abstain from all this. The more you do this, then the more janmas, the more births, and you need to keep on taking birth. If I want to be released of all these clutches, then I need to abstain from Naimittika karma. So, from Kamya karma. Nitya, Naimittika and Kamya karma, that's a set. Karma, that's another set. We have dealt with both now. Now let me tell you about Karma Yoga. What is Karma Yoga? Karma Yoga is performing Nitya karma, performing Naimittika karma, performing them as prescribed in the Shastra, performing them with 3 renunciations: Kartrutva Buddhi Tyaga, Mamata Tyaga, Phala Tyaga. This is exactly Karma Yoga. I perform something that must be prescribed for me, and they must be Nitya and Naimittika karma, those are prescribed for me. Even when I do my prescribed duties, I do them without a sense of ownership, without thinking that I am the doer, without setting my eyes on any low human end. If this is done, this is Karma Yoga. So all karmas do not become Karma Yoga. Your set of karma, your prescribed karma, if done with these 3 renunciations, they become Karma Yoga. Another Karma Yoga na திரும்பி சொல்லிட்டே இருக்குமே. What is Karma Yoga? Do your duty. I am going to my office. Karma Yoga ஆயிடுதா? நான் வந்து அரிசோனா ஸ்டேட் யூனிவர்சிட்டியில படிச்சுட்டேன். கர்ம யோகம் முடிஞ்சு போச்சா? படிச்சுட்டு வேலை பார்த்தாச்சு. கர்ம யோகம் ஆயிடுதா? கல்யாணம் பண்ணிட்டேன். கர்ம யோகம் ஆயிடுதா? என்ன கண்ணன் do your duty தானே சொன்னாங்க. நான் படிக்கிறது என் டியூட்டி தான், கல்யாணம் பண்ணிக்கிறது என் டியூட்டி தான். So is it Karma Yoga? It can be. கண்டிப்பா நாம படிக்கணும்ங்கிறது is prescribed for us. So I can learn, I can study. Vivaham, wedding is prescribed for us. I can. Getting a son or a daughter prescribed for us. I can. At the same time, I should do it with 3 renunciations. kartrutva buddhi tyaga, mamata tyaga, phala tyaga. Krishna tries to explain these things only in the whole of 2nd, 3rd and 4th chapter. Then continues with the way to practice karma jnana yoga in the 5th and the 6th chapter. Anale, ippa nama paathirukadhu. This is karma yoga, this is nitya naimittika karma. They are closely related. Karma is the actions which I do. Karma also result in papa punya rupa karma. How? If I do my nitya and naimittika karma, it is punya. If I do not my nitya and naimittika karma, it is papa. So we have related these two now. We have established the link. And doing them along with the 3 renunciations becomes karma yoga. So karma yoga and nitya naimittika karma. Krishna says that neha bhikrama nashosti pratyavayo na drishyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya swalpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In the 2nd chapter, now let me introduce the shlokas that tell this. If I had earlier told the shlokas to you, it will be too difficult to understand. That's why I have explained the concept to you first. Now let us fit this in the shloka. It is in the shloka only. It is none of my concepts. All these are mentioned in the shlokas. Krishna says, Neha bhikrama nashosti pratyavayo na drishyate. Oh Arjuna, you need to fight this battle because that is karma yoga to you. For a kshatriya, fighting, representing the country, protecting and establishing the rights, the dharmic rights, is his duty. That is his prescribed duty. So he has to fight. When he fights, his only aim, his only objective must be to establish dharma. If he wants to fight, win this battle and enjoy the kingdom, then that is not karma yoga. It will remain to be karma. If it is only karma, then it is papam and punyam. If it is karma yoga, no papam or punyam. The reason being, in karma yoga, I have accepted that I do not want papam and punyam. Since I have abstained, since I have renounced them, I am almost a sannyasi. He is called a karma yogi, is also a sannyasi. Because what has he renounced? The phala, the fruits of his karma. So in karma yoga, you don't get papam and punyam. Whereas in karma, you will have to enjoy papam and punyam. Another karma yogi arunu solrar. Yoga is together. The word yoga has many meanings. Yoga is a path. Yoga is together. This is together. We are together with 3 renunciations. We have 3 tyagas. Any karma together with 3 tyagas is known as karma yoga. You must note that how logical these are. Adha nama paakave maatengro. We need to appreciate that. Oru geethe eduthundalo, oru shastram eduthundalo, vedikku ezhuthi vekkappattade alla. We don't spend time. We need to blame ourselves. We can't blame that shastra. Adha evvalavu nama padikiramo, it will really be bliss. Vaikuntathukku poi anubhavikave vandam. In the scriptures எல்லாத்தையும் இங்கே உட்காந்து பார்த்துருந்தாலே பெருமாள் சேவே வேணாம்னு சொல்லி போட்டு பெரிய ஸ்காலர்ஸ்லாம் இருக்கா பாருங்க, அவர் ரொம்ப கோவிலுக்கே போக மாட்டான். எதுக்குன்னா இதுலயே பார்த்துடுறாவா. வாட் எவர் இஸ் தேர் இன் த ஸ்கிரிப்சர், த்ரூ தட் they are able to see and enjoy Bhagavan. Nala pramanamங்கிறதே மானாதீனா மேய சித்தி. Manadi, Bhagavan is dependent on the scriptures. Scriptures are not dependent on Bhagavan. Unless the scriptures are intact, you cannot prove the existence of Bhagavan. For some time, there was a poet. He was a very divine poet. He had gone for darshan in Tirumala. You know, the difficulties in having darshan in Tirumala. If you go there, you will be told to come after 10 days. You will get a bangle. You can come after 2-3 days. Stand in a queue. And this is the time you will have darshan. This person did not know all these things. He was naive. He went and stood in a queue. Nothing happened. He was standing for 5 hours. He got very wild. When I talk, I prove Venkatesha Peruman. He was a great scholar. He was an Upanyasa. If I shut my mouth, people will not believe you. You must understand that. If a Bhishmacharya Pesilena, where is Krishna? If Veda Vyasa does not write, where is Krishna? We can't understand him. So, but for these scholars, but for their preachings, you cannot even realize, appreciate Krishna. Our Kongutu. Hey, Venkatesha Perumale, Aishwarya Madamattosi, Mamna Janasi Keshava. You have become too haughty. You have become filthily rich. So you are forgetting me. Aishwarya Madamattosi. Manakumba Ahankara Jastiya Bocha Aishwaryatinale. Mamna Janasi. You have forgotten me. If I forget you, the world will forget you. This one hour, உடனே அங்கிருந்தே தேரை அருந்து விழுந்து அவரை நேர கூப்பிட்டு வெங்கடேச பெருமாள் சேவை கொடுத்துட்டாருன்னு சரித்திரம். அதனாலே ஒரு ஸ்காலர் இருக்கார், பிரமாணம் இருக்குன்னா this Bhagavan is very much dependent on pramanam. It is these pramanams that reach us to him. Anale karma yoga, karma yoga and the nitya naimittika kamya karma. Now that we know the link between all this, Krishna explains them. Neha bhikrama nashosti pratyavayona drishyate. O Arjuna, in nitya naimittika karma there is a disadvantage which is not there in karma yoga. If you just perform mere nitya naimittika karma, you have a problem. The problem is neha bhikrama nashosti pratyavayona drishyate. There is pratyavaya. Pratyavaya is if you do not perform, there is papam. That is pratyavaya. Abhikrama nasha, having begun, if you stop, if you abandon, then that is again papa. Abhikrama nasha, I begin some karma, I am not able to complete. Will I reach the goal? I cannot. I begin Jyotishtoma Yaga. I need to complete it rightly. If not, I can't reach Swargam. So this is one problem with Kamya Karma. Neha bhikrama nashosti. Whereas in Karma Yoga, Krishna says, having begun, even if you are not able to continue, Arjuna, I ensure that you complete your mission. Who will give this assurance? நீ இந்த காலேஜில் சேரு, உன்னால படிக்க முடியும், நீ படி, பரவாயில்ல, பாஸே பண்ணாட்டாலும் நான் போடுறேன். அதான் கண்ணு சொல்றாரு. You join here. Will anybody make this statement? சொல்றாரேன்னா காலேஜ் கட்டினதே அவர், ரூல்ஸ் ரெகுலேஷன் போட்டவரே அவர் சொல்றார், பண்ணா கிடைக்கும் தான். If suddenly, I've heard from you students here that everything depends on the professor. If he wants to, he can do anything. And this professor is here for 40-50 years and we are related to him for 4-5 years. This is what we know of. And here is an eternal professor who never joins, who never retires, and who creates. This professor cannot create because that professor creates. But anale avara portha varaikum, you begin and shraddhayode, with dedication. If you begin karma yoga, even if you are not able to complete it, even if you are not able to continue further, I ensure that you reach your goal. Idu evlo dooram simplify pandrarna, one who is able to complete karma yoga, one who abandons after a certain period, one who abandons just beginning, one who did not even begin but wants to begin, all the four will reach moksha. How is it? Then of course I will choose the last. Why the first? And in the 4 பேருக்கும் ஒரே இடம் தான் சொல்லிட்டா, அப்ப கடைசிதே போருமேனா, yes, போரும் தான். நாம யாரும் we won't reach the 4th stage at all. The first stage போவே போறது இல்ல. நமக்கு எல்லாரும் பகவான் மோட்சம் கொடுக்கிறதே only with the last, not with the first. He never expects us to mature to that extent. If you are dedicated, and that dedication should be born out of the faith that I need to follow what Krishna said to me. He told me something, I am going to follow. Come what may, I would follow. You begin that, and that faith, that belief will reach you to Atma Sakshatkara. It is not that my completion reaches me to Atma Sakshatkara. இங்க மட்டும் ஸ்டெப்ஸுக்கு மார்க் உண்டு. கணக்கு போடுறோமோ இல்லையோ, கணக்கு போடுறச்ச ஸ்டெப்ஸ் போட்டு ஆன்சர் தப்பாவே வரட்டும், ஆனாலும் மார்க் உண்டு. Have you seen that? ஏதோ கொஞ்சம் இடத்துல மட்டும் போடுவா, கிளாஸ் ரூம் டெஸ்டா இருந்தா போடுவா, மேல ஃபைனல் எக்ஸாம்லாம் எழுதிச்சே போடுவாளா? பகவானுக்கு மொத்தமே கிளாஸ் ரூம் டெஸ்ட் தான். Everything is his classroom for him. There is nobody else, no other examiner. He runs the college, he built the college, he joins you, he admits you in the college, he sets the question paper, he corrects the question paper, he values the question paper, he awards marks to you, and based on the award, he reaches to the next. Everything is him. When everything is him, why should I please somebody else? I should please only him. And why should I look upon somebody else? There is no need at all. If I do that, I am wasting my life. I know that there is only one person I am related to, and he decides everything. And he is powerful enough to decide. எனக்கு அதுல ஒன்றும் சந்தேகமே கிடையாது. I know that somebody else cannot decide. It is he who can. அதனால கண்ணன் சொல்றது நேஹா விக்ரம நாசோஸ்தி. ஓ அர்ஜுனா, let me differentiate, distinguish karma yoga from your nitya naimittika karma. They, if you don't complete them rightly, will not fetch you anything. Whereas karma yoga, na abhikrama nashaha asti. Abhikrama, having begun, nashaha, it's damaged, it's spoiled. Na asti, it is never spoiled having begun. If you begin, it is completed. Because beginning is done by me, completion is taken care by him. I never complete, I only begin. If I do a right beginning, completion is his responsibility. He assumes that responsibility. Neha vikrama nashosti pratyavayo anudrishyate. Then Arjuna questions, if I have abandoned that, then if I abandon Sandhyavandana, what would happen? Papam varume. Adapole, will I get papam here? Pratyavayo nadrishyate. No, because I told you to start, you began. Having begun, I will not give you any papam. Neha bhikramanashosti pratyavayo nadrishyate. How much should I do? Swalpamatyasya dharmasya. Asya dharmasya. To this virtue, swalpamapi. Even if you are able to do a little, you do a little. Whatever is possible by you, whatever is feasible to you, do it. Swalpamapi. Asya dharmasya. Swalpamasya trayate mahato bhayat. Mahato bhayat. It gets you released from this deluge itself. It gets you released from this samsara. I do a little, but I push big. It is so big. How can I get released from this samsara? Whatever I did was little. You take the example of a jockey. When your tires burst, you use a jockey to lift the car. In a jockey, you apply very less pressure. Your effort is too little. Whereas the result is too big. The car gets lifted. Left to me, I can't lift the car physically. But when I threw the jockey, the car gets lifted. And the jockey does all the job. Similarly, my effort is little. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya. I do a little. Jockey is Krishna. He sits in between. He receives whatever little I do. And he lifts the car which is samsara. He releases the samsara. Anale, idu nadakuma naan konjama pannenena. You can take a jockey or a pulley. If you use a pulley, the technology of pulley is that the mechanics inside pulley is I give less effort. Whereas something big turns around. Adhe polatha ingi ipo. Nama panna poradhu konjama irukkalam. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya. But the effect is trayate mahato bhayat. The big samsara is vanishes. Is no more with me. Alvar, Nammalvar in Thiruviruttam. Samsara. Nammalvar in Periya Thiruvandadi. He says that Vano, Marihadalo, Marutamo, Kano Uringittum Kandilamal. Before I surrendered to his lotus feet, I found Papa everywhere around me. They were so visible to me. But once I resorted to his lotus feet, I have been searching for one Papa for long now. I couldn't find any. Vano, are there? Are they hiding in this ether? Marikadalo, are they drowned in the ocean? Marudamo, or as this wind washed them away? Vano, Marikadalo, Marudamo, Kano Urungittum. Maybe they were bitten by wild animals in the forest. I do not know where they have vanished. Kano Urungittum Kandilamal. Alvar also pleads to Bhagavan. Vara Varuvai, Varumen Maya, Maya Murtiyai, Ara Vamutai, Adiye Navi, Ahame Tittipai, Tira Venahal Tira Yanna Andai, Tirukudanda Ura, Una Kadpattum Adiyen Inna Mudalveno. Having resorted to you, I must not be born again. Una Kadpattum, Una Kadpadadal is resorting to Bhagavan. Una Kadpattum Adiyen Inna Mudalveno. If I am born again, then your purpose gets defeated. You are there and your Shastra, Gita is there and you took birth for me not to be born again. If I born and after you take birth, Khanda Arjuna Patu Shollariko, Arjuna Nanum Pirandu Niyum Pirakavanumo. The purpose of my birth is to sever your birth. Na Porandapurama Nee Porandandiana, Na Porandak Arthamilla the Bodguli. Anala Bhagavan Avatarikirana, the only purpose is liberating us. Pratyavayo nadrishyate. Neha bhikramanashosti. Pratyavayo nadrishyate. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya. Trayate mahato bhayat. Then Krishna explains a glorious concept. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi. Ekeha kurunantana. Bahushakhaha. Anantascha. Buddhayaha. Avyavasayinam. In the Terjunuta, you will all be in first grade. Enna vanumo? A distinction, 100 out of 100 you will get. This shloka has everything in store. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi. Ekeha kurunandana. There is a buddhi. This is our mind. Buddhi is dharma bhuta jnana. There is an attribute to this Atman. The attribute is dharma bhuta jnana. It is a knowledge of the Atman, which is termed as buddhi. So this Atman has a buddhi. It has a knowledge. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi. The Atman's buddhi is focused. Ekeha kurunandana. It is focused. It is single-pointedly focused. Ekesa kurunandana. Which buddhi? Vyavasayatmika buddhi. That knowledge which is quite clear about its mission, about its objective. To that knowledge, to which the goal is only one, the solitary goal, that buddhi is always focused. Ekeha, it is one buddhi. The goal is one. The action is one. The achievement is one. Ekeha Kurunandana. Bahushakhaha Anantascha. But there are other many material benefits, Arjuna. Bahushakhaha. If your buddhi starts wandering on all the material benefits, then they are many in number. You need to do a lot. You reach many places. We are going to see two charts. One chart is about Atma Sakshatkara. The other chart is about achieving material benefits. This is single pointed. My jnana was clear. I know that Atma is supreme to the body. That's the first jnana I achieved. Dehatma abhimanam tholindu. Deham is totally different to the Atman. Atman is eternal, but Deham is perishable. This is a jnana. That's a single pointed jnana. What I need to do? Single pointed karma yoga. Not wish for any material benefits. Not call for any low human ends. The only human end, Atma Sakshatkara. The only jnana is about Atma. The only action is karma yoga. The only result is Atma Sakshatkara. Everything is single pointed there in this chart. Whereas come to this chart, there are many things materially we can achieve in this world. Is it one? You can't count whatever you want to. Tiruppanazhvar or Patla சொன்னார். மந்திபாய் வடவேங்கட மாமலை வானவர்கள் சந்தி செய்ய நின்னான். குரங்கு ஒரு மரத்துல இன்னொரு மரத்துக்கு தாவறதாம். எப்ப தாவுனா, if it exhausts bananas in one tree, it immediately jumps for further bananas. மாறிண்டே இருக்கும். அது முடிஞ்சு போச்சுன்னா அடுத்த மரம். இப்பதான் சாப்பிட்டியன்னா இன்னொன்னு வேணுமே. மாறிண்டே இருக்கும் இல்லையோ. அதை போல ஆழ்வார் சொன்னார். இப்போ நானும் மாறிண்டே இருக்கேன். குரங்கு தாவறாப்புல நான் தாவிட்டு இருக்கேன். இப்போ ஒரு தடவை இப்போ திருமலை யாத்திரை போவோம். திருப்பதி யாத்திரை போறச்சு என்ன வேணும் பெருமாள் கேட்பார். பக்தி வேணும்னு கேட்டுக்கலாம். கேட்கற மனசு வருமா? இது வேணும் அது வேணும் எத்தையோ கேட்டு போவோம். போய் எனக்கு கிடைச்ச ஒரு சின்ன குடிசை. Hut to live. This is what we will request from him. Bhagavan would think, yes, should he not be blessed with a hut? If I say no, if I say only bhakti should be your accomplishment, then he may not turn up the next time. Instead, let me give him a hut. அடுத்த தடவை ஒழுங்கா வருவான் அப்படின்ட்டு குடிசை கொடுப்பார். And he is so naive that he expects us next time when we go, we will plead for moksha. That never happens. அடுத்த தடவை போறச்சே hut becomes a home. Next time, home becomes a villa. Next time, villa becomes a bungalow. Next time, it becomes an island. இப்படித்தான் மாத்திட்டே இருப்போமே தவிர never we are satisfied with whatever we have. அதனால எதிர்ச்சாலாப சந்துஷ்டிங்கிறதே இல்லாமல் if we have anything, kindly be satisfied with that. Whatever we need, Bhagavan will give you. But it is going to take time to understand this, to realize this. But finally, நம்ம ரத்தம் சுண்ட எல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சுடுவோம். When we were young, when our blood is boiling, we will not understand these things. When it slowly cools down, that is when we understand, realize all these things. அதனால நம்ம இப்ப போறோம், பெருமாள்கிட்ட கேட்கிறோம்னா திரும்ப எத்தத்தையோ கேட்டே இருந்தா அவர் கடைசி வரைக்கும் நம்பிட்டு கொடுத்துட்டே இருக்காரு. என்னன்னா ஏதோ ஒரு நாள் மோட்சம் கேட்க போறான் அப்படிங்கிற நம்பிக்கையில கொடுத்துட்டு இருக்கார். அதை மட்டும் இவன் கேட்கறதே இல்லை. அவர் அதை தவிர எல்லாத்தையும் கொடுத்துட்டு தான் இருக்கணும். அதனால we don't settle to what we have. அது மேல கேட்கிறோமோ, இட்ஸ் லைக் மகாசனஹா மகாபாப்மா. இட்ஸ் அ பாட்டம்லெஸ் பிட். வாட் எவர் யூ ஃபில், யூ ஹாவ் டு கீப் ஆன் போரிங். இட்ஸ் நெவர் ஃபில்ட் அட் ஆல். தூரா குழி தெனால் அகன்னிருப்பன் ஆழ்வார் சொல்றார். இட்ஸ் அ தூரா குழி. இட்ஸ் அ பாட்டம்லெஸ் பிட். I saw an advertisement for Coca-Cola or Pepsi. They said it's a bottomless cup. You pay $2 or $5. It's a bottomless cup. வாங்கிட்டே இருக்கலாமா? வாங்கிட்டே இருக்கலாம். அந்த கப்பை ஃபில் பண்ணி சாப்பிட்டுட்டே இருக்கலாம்ன்றான் போது. அது பார்க்கச்சே எனக்கு இந்த தூரா குழி தான் ஞாபகம். ஆழ்வார் பாட்டில தான் சொன்னார். இட்ஸ் அ பாட்டம்லெஸ் பிட். வாட் எவர் யூ ஃபீட், உன் காமானுபவம் தொலையவே போறது இல்லை. இன்னும் கொண்டாங்கிற மொழி. இவர் அனலஹா, அக்னி. Fire is known as analaha because alam buddhi is satisfaction. Alam, it's enough. I'm satisfied. Analaha, never satisfied with anything. Agni is a matter which is not satisfied whatever you offer it to him. You keep on pouring everything into Agni, he will consume. But he will never say no. He is never satisfied. Adha polathan nama kama anubhavam. The more and more we feed it, the more and more we feel hungry. We feed. Should you not quench? That never happens. You feed more, you need more. Anale, adha polathan ipo solra vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandhana bahushakhaha anantascha. So material benefits are many. And the means for them are also many. To get a child, means is different. It is Putrakameti Yaga. To go to Swargaloka, means is different. It is Jyotishthoma Yaga. To kill your enemy, the means is different. It is Shena Yaga. So, many benefits, many destinations, and many means. many paths. Too many paths and too many destinations would only spoil. It totally spoils. Bahushakaha anantascha buddhayaha avyavasayinam. Avyavasayinam. One who is not clear that Atma is superior to the Deha. Avyavasayinam. He does not, he hasn't a resolute intelligence. It's a non-resolved. It's an unresolved intelligence. If he is resolved, then his destination is one. If it is not resolved, there is no conviction in him. There is no dedication. Then it is too many. If it is too many, என்னாகும் இன்னைக்கு இது வேணும்னு தோணும், அது வேணும்னு தோணும், அது வேணும்னு தோணும். சின்ன குழந்தை ஒண்ணு கூப்பிடுங்க, இந்த இடம் முழுக்க மாம்பழத்தை வச்சுட்டு ask the child to go and pick one. You cannot. இப்போ ஒன்னே ஒண்ணு வச்சு எடுத்துன்னு போயிடும். You keep about 100 mangoes. Tell the child to pick. If he touches this, the other mango will look better. It will immediately shift its hand. The other will do best. It will shift. கடைசியில எதை எடுக்கிறதுனே தெரியாது. அதுதான் அவ்யவசாய புத்தி. If you think about too many low human ends, then there is no end to it at all. You keep on thinking, your wants will change. நானே மாறிட்டேனே, நான் மாறிட்டேனே. இப்போ நேற்றுக்கு இருக்காப்புல இன்னைக்கா, இன்னைக்கு இருக்காப்புல நாளைக்கா. When I entered this country, I entered in Boston. That was too cold. Shawl. எல்லாரும் ஷால் போதும். இந்த ஊருக்கு வந்தோடனே ஷால் போத்திருந்தா என்னை பாய்ச்சிருக்கிறான். இப்பதானே 15 நாள் முன்னாடி பாஸ்டன்ல ஷால் போத்திருந்தேன், இன்னைக்கு போத்துக்கல. அன்னைக்கு சர்க்கம்ஸ்டான்சஸ் அப்படி, இன்னைக்கு சர்க்கம்ஸ்டான்சஸ் இப்படி. ஒன்னா தானே இருக்கேன். So time changes, weather changes, my thinking changes. I never had bitter gourd at the age of 5 or 6. I hated it. But today the doctor prescribed me, it is good for your health. வாயை பொத்தி சாப்பிட்றேன். That's what I do. And I'm 5 வயசுல பண்ணது மாறி போயிட்டேனே. All these material things would change. Whereas regarding Atman, nothing changed. It ever remains the same. Anala vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana. It is one pointed buddhi. Whereas if it is on these material benefits, then they are too many, you get confused. Ohad Arjuna, idhila buddhiye செலுத்தினே அவ்வளவுதான். அது மறுபடியும் சம்சாரத்துல தள்ளி விட்டுட்டே தான் இருக்கும். ஆனால் பார்க்க வேண்டியது அங்கதான். Set your eyes on that, and that's me. Whenever given a chance, he will immediately talk about himself. அந்த ஒரு புத்தி யார்கிட்ட தெரியுமா இருக்கணும்? என்கிட்ட தான் இருக்கணும். அர்ஜுனன் பார்த்தாரு, இப்போ கடைசியில ஒன்ன செல் பண்ணிக்கிறதுக்கு தான் இவ்வளவு பாடா போனா, வேற நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன்? நீ வந்து சேர வேண்டியது என்கிட்ட தான். நீயா புரிஞ்சுக்க மாட்டேங்கிற, நான் சொன்னதான் உண்டு. இப்போ பகவான் would not have boasted about himself if we have realized that. நாம ஒழுங்கா அவரை பத்தி பேசியிருந்தா அவர் பேசியிருக்கவே வேண்டாம். நாம புரிஞ்சுக்காதபடியா தானே அவர் பேச வேண்டியதா புரிஞ்சுக்கோ. சொன்னதுல ஒன்னும் பொய் இல்லை. Whatever he represented was right, but unfortunately we pushed him to do that. We should not have done that. நம்முடைய ஆத்மா யாரு? It is subservient to Paramatma. If he had accepted, would Krishna open his mouth? He would not have. So we are at a fault. Our fault is we made him talk. இது சில பேரை கேட்டா சொல்லுவா, அப்படிலாம் நாங்க பண்ணவே தானே கீதை கிடைச்சது, இல்லைன்னா கீதையே கிடைச்சிருக்கா சொல்லிடுவான். நல்ல வேலை இது இவன் பண்ண தப்புக்கா பகவான் கீதை சொன்னார் போடு. நான் அவரை ஒழுங்கா என்னுடைய சுவாமின்னு ஒத்துக்காத்தினாலே he had to talk all this. If I had accepted to him, he would not have opened his mouth. But anyhow, we have Gita today. Anal nehabhikraman ashosti pratyavayona vidyate vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana. But Arjuna did not accept it on the face of it. He now negates. He refuses. Krishna, if you say so, then why have you first talked about the kamya karma in the Shastras? You should not have. Why did you mention that you do putra kamyati, you will get a son? You do jyotishtomam, you will get swargam. You perform your vayavya yaga, you will be amassing wealth. Why all this? You could have stopped only with nitya karma and nainitya karma. Why show so many and say, don't wish them? இது நிறைய சாஸ்திரத்தை ப்ராப்ளம். பண்ணாமலே இருந்துக்கலாம் முதல்ல. இது இத்தனையும் சொல்லி குடிச்சிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் இதெல்லாம் கூடாதுன்னு. Why? You give us eyes, then say don't see all this. You give us ears, then say don't listen to anything other than my glory. You give a pair of hands and say don't touch anything. எல்லாம் உலகத்துல you create onion, create garlic, create drumstick, create cabbage, create cauliflower and say don't eat them. இது சாத்விக ஆகாரம், இது ராஜச ஆகாரம், இது தாமச ஆகாரம், இதை சாப்பிடாத பண்ணாதே இருந்துக்கலாமே. பெருமாள் இதை சிருஷ்டிக்கவே இல்லைன்னா then I don't have a choice. I could not have resorted to them, but he gives all this. அதுக்கு தான் பதில் சொல்ல போறார். When Arjuna questions that, Krishna replies, "Oh Arjuna, त्रैगुण्य विषया वेदाः निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन यावानर्थ उदपाने सर्वतः संप्लुतोदके तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः." यावानर्थ उदपाने. Arjuna, I accept your question. Go to Ganga. There is a lot of water flowing. It's not just a simple river. It's a perennial river. Lot of water. It's kilos and tons and kiloliters of water. There's so much of water flowing in Ganga. Why don't you drink all? Will you? You will drink to the extent to quench your thirst. That's all. You can't drink more. You can't drink less. Yavanartha udapane sarvataha samplutodake. Udapane. As you want. Sarvata samplutodake. To quench your thirst, drink water. You can't drink all the water that flows in Ganga. Similarly, whatever status you are, whichever category you belong to, choose that which is right for you from the Shastra. Shastras are like Ganga. They are too big. Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha. The Shastras advise for all three categories of people. Sattvika, Rajasa and Tamasa. Sattvikas, Rajasas and Tamasas. The Shastras have to cater to all. They cannot stop with Sattvikas alone because Shastras have a wider reach. They have an all-embracing concept. The concept is Tamasas have to get transformed. They must upgrade to Rajasas. Rajasas must refine and upgrade to Sattvikas. This is the mission of the Shastras. If it caters to or advises only Sattvikas, then where will they refer to? The Rajasa and Tamasa, they need to refer to terms text. Other Pandit, they should also refine, they should also mature. If the Shastra says, don't come here, we have nothing in store for you, then they will be left in the lurch. What would happen? They will all turn to be atheists. Shastrathara ondume illathinale, they would not continue to be theists. They will only become atheists. Adukkaga Shastra enna pandrathu? To a Tamasa and a Rajasa, it specifies something. But a Sattvika must never choose that. If I have a specific set of prescription in the Shastra, I must only act accordingly. Na Shastrathula sollikkungiradhukaga, a Sattvika must not lay hands on a Rajasa duty. A Sattvika must not lay hands on a Tamasa duty. Yedhu enakku sollirukko adadhan. I enter here. I am doing PhD. I don't. Some of you would have been. ஆனால் இங்கே PhD இருக்குன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. இங்கே வந்து அண்டர் கிராஜுவேஷன் இருக்கும், இங்கே MS இருக்கும், இங்கே PhD இருக்கும். இங்கே யார் PhD படிக்கிறீர்களோ, can I go and sit in an undergraduation class? I will not. Then why did you create undergraduation? அப்படின்னு அவர் கேட்டா, this university is for all. This university is not for only undergraduates. It's not only for that. அப்படின்னு எப்படி வச்சுப்போமே. Then why don't you run a university only for PhD students? அப்ப undergraduate படிக்கிறதுல எங்க போவான்? They need to study. அதனால அவளுக்கு வேணும். Just because there is an undergraduate course here, a PhD student cannot go and sit there. So நாம எதுவோ அந்த கிளாஸ்ல தான் போய் உட்காரணும். You identify yourself as a Tamasa or a Rajasa or a Sattvika. அது உனக்கு எது சாஸ்திரத்துல சொல்லிருக்கோ, you need to follow that. Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Vedas are for all the three. For Sattvika, Rajasa and Tamasa. Arjuna, I at least expect you to be devoid of all the three. Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Arjuna said, Krishna, have you come to a conclusion whether I am a Sattvika or a Rajasa or a Tamasa? Kannan பதில் சொன்னார், ஏன் அத்தை பிள்ளையா இருந்தாலும் நீ சாத்விகனா இருப்பேன்னு எதிர்பார்க்கிறேன். இல்லன்னா அதுவும் போச்சு. எனக்கு சொந்த அத்தை பிள்ளை நீ ஏன் சாத்விகா இல்லைன்னா நான் ஊருக்கு போய் உபதேசம் பண்ண முடியுமா? முதல்ல உன் வரவு காரணம் திருத்து, அப்புறம் நான் திருந்துறேன் துரியோதனன் சொல்ல மாட்டானா? அதே காரணம் சொல்ல மாட்டானா? அதனால ஏன் அத்தை பிள்ளைங்கிறதுக்காகவான்னு எதிர்பார்க்கிறேன். நிஸ்திரைகுண்யோ பவார்ஜுன. Arjuna, the white complexion. Arjuna is white. Krishna says, don't be in complexion white. Be in your performance white. White is the color for that represents Sattvika Guna, Satta Guna. ஆனால் இப்ப கண்ணன் என்ன சொல்றாங்க? ஓ அர்ஜுனா, be sattvic. Don't be rajasic or tamasic. இப்போ I'll give you that. Let me take through a ladder. There is an atheist and he has earned a lot, but he has earned a lot at the same time earned a lot of enemies too. அவனால இந்த enemies தாங்கவே முடியல. So he was trying for a way out. How to remove all my enemies so that there is no obstacle for my business. There is no competition. He was wanting to do that. He didn't find anything in atheism. கொன்னா ஜெயில போட்டுருவான், அது அவருக்கு தெரியும். So he came to a dharmika. He came to a Vedic Pandit and he asked him, is there anything in the Vedas by which I can kill my enemy? இவர் பார்த்தார், இதை வந்து நம்ம கிட்ட கேட்கறான். Why should I tell him something that will kill others? But still, he thought this atheist must be transformed to a theist. What do I do? Yes, there is one Shena Yaga. If you perform that as said in the Veda, your enemy would vanish. Our person did not believe in the Vedas, but still he wanted his enemy to be killed. That's for sure. So he performed the austerity, the penance that was said. Having performed, Vedas will never lie. Enemy got killed. Next, our friend thought, once the enemy is killed, then I am going to flourish. That never happened. அப்புறம் தான் தெரிஞ்சது, நமக்கு கல்யாணம் ஆயிருக்கு, குழந்தையே பிறக்கல, அது கஷ்டம் போல் இருக்கு, என்ன பண்ணலாம்? He didn't find any way. Went to the same Vedic Pandit. Do you have anything in your Vedas so that I get a daughter? Where the Pandit said that yes, you can perform a homa called Putra Kametti Yaga. If you do, you will get a son or a daughter. Yes, he performed. Koncha belief kudit. Now his faith increased. His belief progressed. The second yaga, that too fetched result. And having got a daughter, he thought, yes, everything is done in the life. It was not so. He had to get her married. அதுக்கு நிறைய தேவைப்பட்டது. அப்ப பார்த்தார், பணமே இல்லை நம்ம கிட்ட. What to do? We don't have wealth. What to do to get wealth now? He went to the same Vedic Pandit, asked him, is there anything in the Vedas for me to get wealth? அப்ப அவர் சொன்னார், you perform Vayavya Yaga, you will become wealthy. He performed Vayavya Yaga, he became wealthy. He thought, having become wealthy, that's end in this world. That was not to be. There are so many problems which he faced. Then he immediately looked up. Is there an eternal world? This world seems to be temporary. Instead, can I go to an eternal world? He went back to the Vedic Pandit. He said, yes, there is a world. There is an upper world. It's called Swargaloka, where you can enjoy all this for a longer period. Not for this short life. It's a much, much longer period. Would you like to go? Yes. Do you have anything? Yes, the prescription is Jyotishtoma Yaga. He performed Jyotishtoma Yaga. Now by this time, he was a firm believer of the Vedas. Because when he came as an atheist, from then on, he is undergoing a transformation. Now he started beginning the Vedas. He performed Jyotishtoma Yaga. He reached Swargaloka. He thought all his agonies ended. But he did not know they only got postponed. Nothing ended there. They were only postponed. Having reached Swargaloka, Rambha, Tilottama, Urvashi, Menaka, all were around him. All dancing, kacheri, patu kacheri, dance kacheri. Yellam paatundar. One day he saw somebody. He was being pushed from Swarga back to earth. Back to Manushya Loka. He was frightened. He called Rambha, who was by the side of him, dancing by the side of him. He called her closer and whispered to her ears, why are you pushing that gentleman back? She said, his punyams are exhausted. We are pushing him back. What's your problem in it? I don't have any problem in pushing him. I would like to know whether I will be pushed. And when is that? Rambha said, that day is not today. You still have some more punyams left with you. We have already fixed day after tomorrow for you. Nalaniki vanna pidichi thalagupra thalliduvom. Will you do that for me too? We will do that for everyone. Not only you. யாருக்கு இருந்தாலும் புண்ணியம் முடிஞ்சு போச்சுன்னா கீழே தள்ளி விட்டுருவோம். அப்ப அவருக்கு தோணித்து, this Vedic Pandit told me this is eternal. He went back to that Pandit and asked him, I told you that I should reach an eternal world. Pandit said, I never told you eternal. I only told you it's a longer experience. I never committed that it is eternal. Now would you like to become eternal? Yes. Our friend is exhausted. He doesn't want to try any more world. He asked, yes, I would like to become eternal. What is the yagam? There is no yagam to it. You have to perform your karma yogam. That is the way. There is no more yagams available to you. Now that you have tried all this, all these are kamya karma. Abstain. Our friend asked, இதை முதலே சொல்லக்கூடாது. இது இத்தனை நாள் பண்ணி பார்த்துட்டு இப்ப அப்டேன்கிறியே, இதை முதல்ல சொல்லக்கூடாதுன்னா நீ முதல்ல கேட்கலையே. நீ எங்கிட்ட வந்து எதிரி போகணும்னு கேட்டு எதுவரை மோட்சம் போன நான் கேட்ட, நீ கேட்கல. நான் அன்னைக்கு மோட்சத்தை சொல்லி இருந்தேன், நீ ஏத்துட்டு இருக்க மாட்டேன். ஏன்னா நீ இருந்த நிலைமை வேற. அந்த நிலைமையில இதை சொன்னாதான் நீ ஏத்துப்பியே தவிர, அதுக்கு தான் சொன்னேன். சோ இப்ப சாஸ்திரத்திலே தாமசனுக்கு இருக்கு, ராஜசனு இருக்கு, சாத்விகனு இருக்கு. Now that our friend has matured to be a satvika, will he ever ask for Shena Yagam again? He will not. Now he will only ask for Karma Yogam, Sharanagati and eternal bliss. அதைத்தான் இப்ப கண்ணன் திருப்பி சொல்றா. So Arjuna, you behave like a satvika. அங்க இது இருக்கான்னு கேட்காதே. அதுல எல்லாமே இருக்கும். Because Vedas have a far-reaching responsibility. They are not restricted to you alone. It's not for the sattvikas alone. Yavanartha udapane sarvata sampludotake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanataha. Adanaladhan na kamya karma sollirke. But for that I would not have mentioned at all. But without the kamya karmas, I cannot draw that crowd. I need them too, because they also belong to me. They also should one day or other transform and reach Vaikuntha. அதனாலதான் அப்படி பண்ணிருக்கேங்கிறது தெரிவித்தார். Then he further said, karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetu bhuhu mate sangaha astu akarmani. Now Arjuna, let me clarify. You have a right to do your duty. We have already dwelled on, we have dealt with what is duty, what is my prescribed karma, when does it become karma yoga, what are the renunciations which I will do. All these are well discussed. Karmanyevadhikaraste. You have a right to do your duty. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Not for any low human end. Ma karma phala hetu bhuhu. You do not be the cause for any low human end. Mate sangaha astu akarmani. For that, don't decide to abstain. You need to do everything. You can't keep, you cannot keep away. It's not inaction that Bhagavan prescribes. It is only action. But an action not looking at low human end. So you act. Act for nothing low. Act for something big. Our president, the earlier president in India, he said that dream big. That's very important. அப்படி இருக்கிறச்சே போய் எனக்கு வீடு கிடைக்கும், வாசல் கிடைக்கும்லாம் கனவு காணுதான். பெரிய வீடு கிடைக்கும்னு கனவு காணும். அதை விட்டுட்டு இதே இந்த கல்லாலையும் மண்ணாலையும் கட்டின வீட்டுக்காக போய் எவ்வளவு கஷ்டப்படுறதுக்கோ. Atmans are not simple beings. It's a glorious, powerful, strong agent of Paramatma. Unless I realize, I will only settle for something low. Why should I settle? There are many things that are low and that's not for this Atma. We are here for eternal enjoyment. அதை புரிஞ்சுக்கணுங்கிறதுக்கு தான் கண்ணன் சொல்லிட்டு இருக்காரு. Then he adds, Durenahi avaram karma, buddhi yogat dhananjaya, buddhau sharanam anvicha, kripanaha, phalahetabaha. Now I am going to take you through a journey. Journey is going to be totally confusing. அதனால ஜாகிரதையா வாங்க கூட. If you miss anywhere, then you can't complete the journey. And in second chapter, he is going to tell something. In third, he is going to contradict. In fourth, he is going to further contradict. And adding 2, 3, 4, he is going to introduce a new concept, which is totally contradicting all 2, 3 and 4. But finally, all the preceptors says, this is the best we can understand. ஏன்னா அது கண்ணன் சொன்னார் வந்து அவ மாத்தி பேசவே மாட்டா. அது சங்கரா இருக்கட்டும், ராமானுஜரா இருக்கட்டும், மத்தரா இருக்கட்டும், அவர் என்ன சொன்னாரோ அவ்வளவுதான். இல்லையே ரொம்ப கன்ஃபியூசிங்கா இருக்காரு. அவரோ இல்லையோ கன்ஃபியூஸ் தான் பண்ணுவார். ஏன்னா ஆச்சாரியாளா இருந்தா ஒழுங்கா பேசுவார், பகவானா இருந்தா அவர் பேசவே மாட்டார். அவருக்கு தெரிஞ்சதெல்லாம் அவர் பேசிட்டு போடுவார். பின்ன எதுக்கு வியாக்கியானம்? These commentaries were born to clarify the confusion, so that we are not confused at all. Krishna says, Buddhau sharanam anvicha, durenahi avarang karma, buddhi yoga dhananjaya. What is that we have understood till now? That karma yoga is indispensable. It has to be done by everybody. It has to be practiced by all. Why? You note down the reasons. The first reason is, I am used to only karma yoga. I am not used to jnana yoga. When a child is born, does it go to the forest and start meditating? No. Kaikala vadikirudhu. It feels hungry. It cries. It laughs. It just crawls. Does everything. All this is a part of karma yoga. In a karmathila dhaan nama palaki irukom. We are not used to jnana yoga. We are used to act, not to abstain. Anale, having been used to it, practice karma yoga. Secondly, not only getting used to it, the probability of failure is much lesser in karma yoga than jnana yoga. எனக்கு எது பழக்கமோ அந்த வழியில போமோ. I have been driven in many cities by many people to the venue of this lecture. நான் ஒரு நாளும் பார்த்திருக்கேன். If the lecture is for 3 days, 3 நாளும் somehow or other they drive me through a different route only. They never take the same route. அது ஏன்னே தெரியுது. I have been wondering. நேத்து இப்படி கூண்டு போனாலே கொஞ்சமான ஏதாவது புரிஞ்சிக்கலாம்னு பார்த்தா they don't take me through the same route. அதுக்குள்ள டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணிப்பா. இது இந்த ரூட் இப்படி போலாம் அப்படி போலாம் தெரியல. So then I stopped thinking about this. ஏன்னா இது நமக்கு கையில வரப்போறது இல்லை. இதை விட கீதையை தேவையில்ல போடுறது. அதனால இதுவே வேண்டான்னு ஒரு சரியா விட்டோம். அதனால இப்படித்தான் போகணும்னு வச்சிருந்தா we need to go through that route. அது நம்ம பண்றது இல்லை. இப்ப கண்ணன் என்ன சொல்றாருன்னா, if you go through this route, if the probability to miss is less, if the probability of failure is less, you choose that best route. இங்கே கர்ம யோகத்துல probability of failure is much lesser because it's a known marga. எல்லாருமே வந்து even though it is circuitous, let me take the path known to me. Will we not settle with that? This is a less riskier path. I know I have gone in this path many times. Let me only take that road. நீ ஏதான் ஒண்ணு நீங்க சொல்லி நான் அதை போக பார்த்து and having gone there, if I blink, எனக்கு தெரியவே தெரியாது எங்க போகணும்னு. அதனால தெரிஞ்ச பாதையில ரிஸ்க் குறைச்சலும் இல்லையா. அதனால கர்ம யோகத்தையே பண்ண அர்ஜுனா. You are not used to jnana yoga. Another, the risk, the probability of failure is more. This is the second reason he gives. There is a third reason. Even to a Jnana yogi, Karma yoga is indispensable. Or Jnana yogi, he has to live, he has to sustain himself. To sustain, he needs to earn something and eat something. To earn and eat, it has to be prescribed in the Shastra. You can't do anything illegal or against the Shastra. So, if you to earn a living, you do something, and that action again is Karma yoga. Sari Vanda, I will not do anything. I'll suicide myself now. Appa Jnana yoga pandave matiye. To perform Jnana yoga, you need to sustain. To sustain, you need to eat. To eat, you need to earn. Earning becomes again karma. So even to a Jnana yogi, karma is indispensable. Adanala panna Arjuna. And the fourth reason given by Krishna is, Arjuna, you are the role model. You are a role model. If you are not a role model, and none would follow you, in which case, you go ahead with Jnana yoga. But since you are a role model, Loka Sangraham na dikpet. Krishna names it. It is Loka Sangraham. Loka Sangraham na. If I am in a position where others would follow me, then I should not do what I am capable of. I should lower myself. I should do what others are capable of. Na edu capable of the pannitenu vechungo. Then others would try to imitate. They would try to follow me. They will fail. Not only fail, they will ruin themselves. Appa enna agum? I would have ruined many. Instead, ipa na enakku or paadam nanna theriyum vechungo. I know a Vedic passage. I can just go fast. I can complete. Ana neenga ipa dhaan kattun irukkrava or 4 per solri. You are all students. You are only now learning that. Appadina I should slower myself. I should chant in the same speed as you. If I chant in my speed, then I would not have done justice at all. It is not justification. Ena neengalum kathukka mudiyadhu. Na edha kathu kudugana and kadasiyila the purpose would get defeated. Anala Arjuna, you are a role model. You are not in the forest. You are a king. All the people would follow a king. Niye yuddha bhumi vittu odipotta. If you run away from this battlefield, what would others do? Here is Arjuna who ran away. And he went for Jnana Yogam. Let us also go to Jnana Yogam, not practice Karma Yogam. Arjuna Channar. Fine. What is wrong in this? Let all practice Jnana Yogam. Arjuna, I have been telling you, you are incapable of Jnana Yogam. Where would others go? Vanakke Jnana Yogam mudiyadunna sollirken. They are not capable of that. They are not eligible to practice Jnana Yogam. But having begun, they will fail. If enna apurpar, you will have to answer to all their failures. Because it is because of your action they followed you. Neither they will get Atma Sakshatkaram nor you would. Yena, unaku ipa paavam vandurume. Ittana pera you misguided. Since you misguided so many, you are not going to reach Moksha. And they being failed, they won't reach Moksha. Instead, Loka Sangrahamevapi Sampasyannu Kartumargasi. I think that you are a master. You are the forerunner. You are a role model. Behave so. Don't behave differently. So, naam eppdina pinnadi varrava edha panna mudiyumo adatha naam seiyano. If we know something, we should not do that. When a master teaches you, he knows the solution to all the problems. Odane problem mela board எழுதிட்டு கீழ சொல்யூஷன் எழுதிட்டு எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியுமோ இல்லையோ? பின்ன எப்படி தெரியும்? எனக்கு தெரியாது. அவர் என்னுடைய வேகத்துக்கு கத்து கொடுத்தா தான் எனக்கு புரியுது. So loka sangrahamevapi sampasyannu kartumargasi. These are all the reasons spelled out by Krishna which make karma yoga indispensable. Anala ivlo neram karma yoga is superior to jnana yoga. Perform that. Appadinu sollita. Arjuna thought, he breathed heavily. He thought, yes, now that it is over, let me conclude. Krishna says, jnana yoga is of course better than karma yoga, Arjuna. அப்பதான் அர்ஜுன் எழுந்து உட்கார்ந்தான். முடிஞ்சு போச்சுன்னு நினைச்சேனே, இப்ப எங்க திரும்ப ஆரம்பிக்கிறார்னா, தூரேணகி அவரங் கர்ம புத்தி யோகா தனஞ்சய புத்தௌ சரணமன்விச்ச கிருபணாஹா பலஹேதவஹ. தூரேணகி அவரங் கர்ம. Your karma is far inferior. Durena, far. Durenaki avarang karma. Karma is very inferior to Durenaki avarang karma. Buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Than Buddhi yoga. Buddhi will stand for Jnana. Jnana yoga. Durenaki avarang karma. Buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Buddhau sharanamanvicha. So you resort. The only resort to use Buddhi. Buddhau sharanamanvicha. Kripanaha palahetavaha. Those who wish for low human ends are all kripanaha, misers. They are not going to achieve anything. Kripanaha palahetavaha. So you only think about that Buddhi. Jnana is so important. Buddhau sharanamanvicha. Durenahi avaram karma. Your karma is very, very inferior. Avaram karma buddhi yoga than buddhi yoga. When compared with buddhi, karma is very inferior. This is the statement made by Krishna. How to interpret it? There is something called prakarana bala. Prakarana bala is the context in which Krishna says this. If you interpret anything, it must be explained with the reference to the context. ERC. Idanjutti Purul Vilakkuga. ரொம்ப நாளா கேட்டிருக்கா பாருங்க. The same ERC. அந்த ERC இலக்கணம் எப்பவுமே கிராமர் மட்டும் சின்ன வயசுல ஒழுங்கா படிச்சுட்டா இட் ஹெல்ப் யூ a lot. அப்பதான் புத்தி நேர் வழியில வேலை செய்யும். நம்ம பேசிட்டே இருக்கிறச்ச குறுக்கு என்னமோ பண்ணுவோம். கடைசியில வேலையே முடியாது. If you start somewhere, think logically. Go to the conclusion. Conclude. அதுக்கு நடுவுல எந்த இடைஞ்சல் வந்தாலும் புத்தி அதுல செலுத்தவே கூடாது. அதைத்தான் இப்ப விவசாயாத்மிகா புத்தி ஏகேக குருநந்தான. ஒரு வேலையை எடுத்துட்டோமா அதுக்கு குறுக்க நிறைய இடைஞ்சல் வரும். கண் அதுல போகவே கூடாது. ஏன்னா என் வேலை அது இல்ல. வந்து துடுப்பா தள்ளுவா உதைப்பா இது தப்புன்னுவா போச்சுன்னுவா எல்லாம் இருக்கட்டும். முதல்ல I have understood that is right. This path is right. I am journeying in that path. I know Bhagavan will be with me and that will be completed. I will accomplish. And the strength இருக்கணும். If you don't have that courage, அப்ப எல்லாம் குழப்பி விட்டுருவா நம்மள. ஆரம்பிக்கிறதுக்கு இப்படி சொல்லி அப்படி சொல்லி we won't be able to progress at all. அதனால கண்ணன் சொல்றது தூரேணகி அவரங் கர்ம புத்தி யோகா தனஞ்சய. இங்கே கர்மா does not mean that தூரேணகி அவரங் கர்ம. Krishna is not advocating that karma yoga is inferior to jnana yoga. He does not say so. What he says is karma yoga requires a realization. That realization is specified as buddhi here. Buddhi does not stand for jnana yoga here. It stands for the required, the prerequisite realization in karma yoga. And the buddhi enadhina two ways. One buddhi is atma jnana, which is the cause for karma yoga. Without atma jnana, nobody would start practicing karma yoga. So atma jnana is the cause for karma yoga. And what is the fruit of karma yoga? Atma sakshatkara. Atma is my fruit. Enjoying the Atman is my fruit. Is a knowledge? Is it not a knowledge? That knowledge is termed as buddhi here. Similarly, there needs to be a cause to karma yoga. When will I start performing, practicing karma yoga? If I think that the Deham and Atma are one and the same, I will not come for karma yoga. Deham, Atma, Vere. Appadinu enakku therinjirume. I must distinguish between Deha and Atma. And that is Atma Jnana. And that Atma Jnana is referred to as Buddhi here. So the word Buddhi stands in two places. One, the cause for Karma Yoga. Two, the result of Karma Yoga. The knowledge about the result of Karma Yoga. So Krishna says, Durenahi avarang karma. Oh Arjuna, you practice Sandhya Vandanam. It's also a part of Karma Yoga. Adale, kaila ipdi teertham udre. I pour water, holy water. I take my hands close. I sip it. I chant some mantra. This is all a part of Karma Yoga. Krishna is only talking about the karma there, not the yoga. There is no mention of yoga in this shloka. Durenahi avarang karma buddhi yoga jananjaya. Karma is inferior. It is inferior to what? It is inferior to two. One, the causative buddhi and the resultant buddhi. The resultant buddhi talks about Atma Sakshatkara. The cause talks about the difference between Deha and Atma. But Khanda enna solrarna, this buddhi is more important than the virtual sipping. You sip water, that is karma. Is that karma important? Is that ritual important? Is that action important? Or the knowledge that this is all done for Atma Sakshatkara important? It is that knowledge which is more important. Without that knowledge, this karma is a waste. Adhe pola. Without Atma Jnana, I would not be led to Karma Yoga. So more than karma, this Jnana is important. Another sollache, Durenahi avarang karma buddhi yoga jananjaya. Your physical action is much, much inferior to this Jnana, Arjuna. Krishna does not say that your karma yoga is inferior to Jnana yoga. He says the required cause for karma yoga, which is Atma Jnana, and the right result for karma yoga, which is Atma Sakshatkara, is better, is supreme to the real action itself. Durenahi avaram karma, buddhi yogat dhananjaya. Tasmad buddhau sharanamanvicha. So resort to that buddhi. Without that buddhi, don't perform anything. பாம்பு கடிச்சுடுச்சுன்னு வச்சுக்கோ. பாம்பு கடிச்சுடுச்சுன்னா கருட மந்திரம் சொல்லலாம். கருட மந்திரம் சொன்னா வரும். கருட முத்ரா காட்டணும். I have to show a Garuda mudra with my hands and chant Garuda mantra vocally and meditate on Garuda. He comes and he releases the snakes and என்ன பாம்பு கடியோ அது விலக்கிடுவார். இப்ப நான் வெறும கையால மந்திரமே இப்படி காட்டியிருந்தேன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. Without thinking about Garuda, will he come? He will not. அதே வாயால ஓங்கி கருட மந்திரத்தை கட்டிட்டு அவரை நினைக்கவே இல்லைன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. Will he come? He will not. So இப்ப இந்த கையில பண்ணதை விட வோக்கலா மந்திரம் சொன்னதை விட meditating on him was more important. Buddhau sharanam anvicha kripanaha phalahetavaha. Atha durenahi avaram karma buddhi yogat dhananjaya. But there may be a counter argument. The argument would be, let me only meditate and not do this too. Adathaan இப்ப எல்லாரும் என்ன சொல்லுவாள்னா, நான் இருந்த இடத்துல இருந்து பகவானை தியானம் பண்றேனே, ஏன் தர்ப்பணம் பண்ணணுங்கிறீர், ஏன் சாதம் பண்ணணுங்கிறீர், ஏன் சந்தியாவந்தனம் பண்ணணுங்கிறீர். Anyhow, Krishna has mentioned durenahi avaram karma buddhi yogat dhananjaya அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டா அப்ப கர்ம யோகமே ஆகாது இல்லையோ. He has specified that you need to perform this. He never said that you can அதுல சலிச்சு you can choose only the jnana part and perform. He never says so. It is all inclusive. You have to perform the total action only. இப்ப இந்த ஸ்கூலுக்கு வந்துட்டோம், படிக்கணும், பரீட்சை எழுதணும். If I say you enroll me in this school, I will sit at home. நான் படிச்சுக்கிறேன், நீங்க எப்படி கத்து கொடுக்கல ஒழுங்கா, அதனால நானே படிச்சுக்கிறேன். I will take an exam from home. That's enough. இந்த ஸ்கூல்ல சேர்த்துக்க மாட்டான். You need to come here. அந்தந்த கிளாஸ் அட்டன் பண்ணி ஆகணும், இவ்வளவு அட்டெண்டன்ஸ் இருந்தாகணும், இருந்தா தான். இல்ல எக்ஸாம் எழுத விட மாட்டான். நான் நல்லா படிச்சுட்டேன், I didn't attend the class even for one day. Why don't you allow me to take this exam? They won't. அப்போ புத்தௌ சரணமன் விச்ச, புத்தி மட்டும் தானே முக்கியம். அப்ப நான் நன்னா படிச்சுட்டேன் எக்ஸாம் எழுதுறேன்னு சொல்லலாம் இல்லையோ, சொல்ல முடியாது. நான் இங்க வந்திருக்கணும், I should have participated in the events. I must get some credits in this subject, some credits in this subject. It's all together. Only when you achieve all this, you will be allowed to take your exam. If you say that, are all these going to lead me to Atma Sakshatkaram? They may not. But finally, Bhagavan has to lead you to Atma Sakshatkaram and he has specified all this. அதனால நான் பண்ணித்தான் ஆகணும். புத்தௌ சரணம் அன்விச்ச கிருபணாஹ பலஹேதவஹ ஸ்ருதி விப்ரதிபன்னாதே யதாஸ்தாஸ்யதி நிச்சலா சமாதாவச்சலா புத்திஹி ததா யோகமவாப்ஸ்யசி. The concluding verses of second chapter, Krishna depicts a ladder. The ladder is, it has 4 rungs. The first rung is Atma Jnana, fundamental knowledge, realization about Atma. Now you have to note this because we are going to totally contradict this in the next 5 minutes. அதனால இப்போ சொல்லிடுறேன். Let me caution you. The first rung is Atma Jnana. Along with Atma Jnana, that is, you are realized that Deha is inferior, your Atman is superior. With that fundamental knowledge, perform Karma Yoga. You practice Karma Yoga. You keep on practicing. And as a result of it, your mind gets purified. Mind purified. Once your mind is purified, you can start performing Jnana Yoga. இத கண்ணு சொல்லிட்டா இருக்கும். ஸ்ருதி விப்ரதிபன்னாதே, having listened to all my preachings, yadasthasati nischala, with the Atma Jnana, unshakable Atma Jnana, practice Karma Yoga. Samadhavachala buddhihi, then your mind is purified. It is cleared. In a dirty mind, you can't practice Jnana Yoga. You need a pure mind to practice Jnana Yoga. You need to remove the dirt. When a carburetor has got dirt, then the fuel does not pass. You need to clean the carburetor. Then only the fuel will pass. You need to clean your mind. To clean your mind, perform Karma Yoga. Practice Karma Yoga. Note clearly now. With Atma Jnana, with a fundamental realization about the Atman, I practice Karma Yoga. That leads to Manashuddhi, which is purity of mind. And once my mind is purified, I practice Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga eventually leads me to Atma Sakshatkara. This solely Krishna concluded the second chapter. இவ்வளவு நேரம் கர்மயோகத்தை பத்தி வசத்தியா சொல்லி வந்தாரோ இல்லையோ, அது குறுக்க ஒரு சந்தேகம் வந்து தூரேணைக்கு அவரங் கர்மாவுக்கு வேற இன்டர்பிரிட்டேஷன் பார்த்தோமோ இல்லையோ, கடைசியில முடிக்கச்சே there is a step. The first step is karma yoga. The penultimate step is jnana yoga. The destination is atma sakshatkara. முடிஞ்சு போச்சுட்டார். இப்ப அர்ஜுன் முடிச்சுட்டான். அவனுக்கு என்ன இங்க வசதியா போச்சுன்னா, anyhow the penultimate step to atma sakshatkara is jnana yoga. And I have been pleading all along that I would like to choose Jnana Yoga. You were only advocating Karma Yoga. Now you have said the lower rung is Karma Yoga, the higher rung is Jnana Yoga. That leads to Atma Sakshatkara. Why don't I abstain from this war? Why don't you directly go to Jnana Yoga and perform that? These were the initial verses in the 3rd chapter. He asked, Jayasi chet karmanaste matabuddhir janardana tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava vyamishrenaiva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me. Except Arjuna, none would dare to question this. He says, oh Krishna, you are confusing me. Buddhir mohayasiva me vyamishrenaiva vakyena. By both these statements, you are confusing me. Vyamishrenaiva. One way you told that Karma Yoga is supreme practice, that it is indispensable. And on the other hand, you make another statement now, that Karma Yoga leads to Jnana Yoga, and Jnana Yoga only leads to Atma Sakshatkara. Then, why not I directly catch hold of the Jnana Yoga? That is comfortable. I feel comfortable with that. Krishna said, I was quite clear. You were confused. Instead, are you passing the buck to me? I never confused you. You are the one who is confused. I told you there are 2 ways in this world. There are 2 margas. Lokesmin, Vividha Nishta, Puraprokta, Mayanatha. Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yoginam. Now Krishna distinguishes. Earlier the path was confusing. Now Krishna says, to these people, there is the exit. To all this, there is an exit. Don't confuse. Take your exit. In a modal enna sonnarna, all these people also join with them and go through that exit. Arjuna got confused. I am seated here. I am seated there. Why should I take that? When you see a travel ticket, if you don't have an aero bridge, you have to climb the steps. These people board through the front door. These people board through the rear window, front window. அப்படி இல்ல எல்லாம் இந்த முதல்ல போய் இந்த கடைசியில போனோம்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க, கன்ஃபியூஷன். போட்டி தூக்கி இங்க வச்சு அங்க வச்சு பின்னாடி போறோம் முன்னாடி ஏறி பின்னாடி போறோம் முன்னாடி ஏறி எல்லாம். அதனால கண்ணன் பார்த்தார், வேண்டாம், இந்த பாதையை பிரிச்சு விட்டுருவோம். அவனுக்கு கர்மயோகம் ஃபார் திஸ், ஞான யோகம் ஃபார் திஸ் அப்படின்னு பாதையை பிரிச்சுட்டார். Now there is a total deviation in the 3rd chapter. 2nd chapter said Karma Yoga is a lower rung, Jnana Yoga is a higher rung, and they both lead to Atma Sakshatkara. Whereas in the 3rd chapter, Krishna totally differentiates. He says Jnana Yoga does not intervene Karma Yoga in leading to Atma Sakshatkara. Karma Yoga directly leads to Atma Sakshatkara. Earlier, Karma Yoga, Manashuddhi, Jnana Yoga, and Atma Sakshatkara. Now, he removes that. Karma Yoga tapannu. Karma Yoga directly leads you to Atma Sakshatkara. Arjuna ippatha moochi vittar, but he had trouble because he was not comfortable. What he wants to choose is Jnana Yoga. Anala இப்ப கண்ணன் திரும்ப சொல்றார், Lokesmin Vividhanishta Puraprokta Mananagha. Hey Anagha, the blemishless, this is pampering Arjuna. Oh blemish, he is only talking about the blemishes of Arjuna. Oh Anagha, the blemishless, the flawless Arjuna, Mayanagha, Karma Yogena Yoginam, Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. To these people, Jnana Yoga is the right prescription. To these, Karma Yoga. And what is the distinction? Distinction is, those who are capable of controlling their sensual organs, they are eligible for Jnana Yoga. Those who cannot control their sensual organs, they have to necessarily practice Karma Yoga. Even in that, there is an exception. Those who can control their sensual organs, but are role models, cannot practice Jnana Yoga. Those who are not role models and further control their sensual organs, they can practice Jnana Yoga. Those who can control their indriyams mattum sollirda, Arjuna would have jumped, because he is very, very capable of controlling. He is known as Gudakesha, one who has won over sleep. If somebody wins sleep, then he can adjust anything, he can control anything. Not only that, Urvashiya paathan, Swargalokku pona Indrana paakathukaga, Urvashiya paathu kizha viழுந்து sevichu தாயேன்னு Arjuna. அந்த அளவுக்கு இந்திரிய ஜெயம் அர்ஜுனனுக்கு உண்டு. அவன் சாமானியப்பட்டவன் இல்ல. நம்ம என்னமோ நமக்கு பக்கத்துல வச்சு நமக்கு சந்தேகம் இருக்கிறாப்புல அர்ஜுனன் நினைச்சுடுவோம். நம்மளையா கூட்டு கண்ணன் சொன்னார், அர்ஜுனனை கூட்டு தான் சொன்னார், அப்ப தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும் அவன் யாருன்னு. கண்ணன் கிட்ட நேர ஒருத்தன் உபதேசம் வாங்கிக்கிறான்னா சாதாரண ஆளா இருக்கவே முடியாது. இவ சச் அ கேப்பபிள் பர்சன். அப்படி இருக்கிறவனுக்கு கன்ஃபியூஷன்னா நாம எங்கேன்னு யோசிக்கணும். கண்ணன் கிட்ட நேர வாங்கிக்கிறவனுக்கு இவ்வளவு கன்ஃபியூஷன் இருந்திருந்ததுன்னா, வேர் ஆர் வி ஆர் ஜஸ்ட் இன் த பாட்டம் ஆஃப் த பிட். அதை புரிஞ்சுட்டு ஒழுங்கா கீதையை தெரிஞ்சுன்னு வாழறதுக்கு வழி பார்த்துக்கணும். லெட் அஸ் கம் பேக். அதனாலே அர்ஜுனன் இப்ப கேட்கறது என்ன? கர்மயோகேன கர்ம யாருக்கு இப்போ who is eligible for ஞான யோகா? Those who can control their senses, and there is another condition to it. Those who are not role models. ஏன்னா Arjuna is a role model but can control his senses. Then it is only karma yoga for you. There will be many people who can control and they are not role models. You can very well go to the forest and practice ஞான yoga. I won't stop you. அதனால கர்ம யோகம்ங்கிறது இவாளுக்கு, ஞான யோகம் இவாளுக்கு. இது கிளியரா இருக்கு அர்ஜுனா அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நியதம் குரு கர்மத்வம் கர்மஜ்யாயோ ஹ்யகர்மணா. நியதம் குரு கர்மத்வம் துவம் நியதம் கர்ம குரு. நியதம் குரு karma in Sanskrit. Any word can be placed anywhere as far as it falls into the framework of the meter. அனுஷ்டுப் சந்தசு, திருட்டுப் சந்தசு, பிருகதி, பங்கி அப்படின்னு சொல்ற மாதிரி ஆமா இது பண்ணச்சவே 7 சந்தசுகள்லாம் சொல்லிக்கலையா? அதுல it all starts from அனுஷ்டுப். Every quarter will have 8 syllables. All 4 quarters together would have 32 syllables. 32 எழுத்து இருந்ததுன்னா அதுக்கு அனுஷ்டுப்புன்னு பேர். இப்ப அனுஷ்டுப் சந்தஸ்ல காயத்ரி, உஷ்ணிக்கு, அனுஷ்டுப்பு, பிருகதி, பங்கி. பங்கி 10 letters in a quarter. Quarterங்கிறது கால் ஸ்லோகம்னு வச்சுக்கோ. In 1 quarter of the sloka, if there are 10 letters, then it is called பங்கி. தசரதனுக்கு there is an epithet, பங்கி ரத. தசரதன்ற மொழி. Another is a synonymous word is பங்கி ரத. Dasha stands for பங்கி. So he is also known as பங்கி ரத. One who is capable of driving in his chariot in all the 10 directions. That's why he was known as Dasharatha and Pankti Ratha. Dasha is 10. So Pankti is a trittu. It is a meter. And that meter calls for 10 letters in a quarter of the sloka. இப்ப அந்த ஸ்லோகத்துக்குள்ள அது இருந்துட்டா போதும். கண்ணன் என்ன சொல்றாருன்னா, தூரேனஹ நியதம் குரு கர்மத்வம். கர்ம குரு. Do your karma. நியதம் குரு கர்மத்வம். Certainly do your karma. Niyatam. Certainly. As a routine, do your karma. அப்படி வச்சுக்கலாம். Niyatam. Karma. Niyatam. Kuru. Karma. Your karma. Niyatam. Certainly. Kuru. Do. This is one way of interpreting. But that is not the right interpretation. What Krishna says is, I have already proved that you have to perform your karma. அதனாலே, you have to do நவனு ஒரு சொல்ல மாட்டார். சொன்னது சொல்லுகை. புனருக்திங்கிறது பெரிய தோஷம் சம்ஸ்கிருதத்துல. If you have already proved something, I won't waste time proving it again. இதெல்லாம் நம்ம நிறைய இங்கிலீஷ் படிப்புல பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். எதுக்காக நான் சொல்ல வரேன்னா, you have lot of meetings. மீட்டிங் நடந்துட்டே இருக்கும். என்ன நடந்தது? 2 வல்லரசுகள் சேர்ந்து மீட்டிங் போடுவாங்க. ரஷ்யா, அமெரிக்கா 2 மீட் பண்றது. என்ன நடந்தது? இது ஒரு ஐலாண்ட்ல சூஸ் பண்ணிப்பான். 2 கண்ட்ரிலையும் பார்க்க மாட்டான், பயம். அதனால வேற ஒரு ஐலாண்டை சூஸ் பண்ணி அங்க போய் மீட்டிங் வச்சுக்குவான். 3/4 மணி நேரம் பேசினார்கள். வெளியில வந்த உடனே எல்லாரும் பேட்டி எடுப்பான். என்ன நடந்தது? ரிப்போர்ட்டர்ஸ் would ask them, what did you decide? We decided to meet when next. இவ்வளவுதான். 3/4 மணி நேரம் பேசினீங்கள, என்ன டிசைட் பண்ணினா அடுத்தது எந்த ஐலாண்ட்ல மீட் பண்ணலாம்னு டிசைட் பண்ணோம். இப்படின்னு முடிச்சிருவா. என்னதுன்னா நம்ம நிறைய வேஸ்ட் பண்ணிடுவோம் டைம். If something is discussed and proved, you can't spend time on that again. அதனால கண்ணன் திரும்ப ஒரு தரம் போய் அதை சொல்லவே மாட்டார். He has already proved that you have to do your duty. இப்ப என்ன சொல்றாரு தெரியுமா? கர்ம நியதம் குரு இல்ல, நியதம் கர்ம குரு. That karma which is niyatam to you, which is prescribed to do that. யாரதோ கர்மாவை நீ பண்ணக்கூடாதுன்னு அர்த்தம். Whatever karma is prescribed to you, do that karma. Because Arjuna is now wanting to practice Jnana Yoga, which is not for him. It is not for a Kshatriya. It may be for a Brahmana, not certainly for a Kshatriya. You are a warrior and your duty is to fight. Anale niyatam karma kuru. Do your duty. Krishna is not telling Arjuna to do duty. Do your duty. That's why that one word is very, very important. Whatever I am created for, I need to do that duty. Niyatam karma kuru. Tvam niyatam karma kuru. Because karma jyayo hyakarmanaha. Akarma is much inferior to karma. Again, he is introducing 2 terms. Karma and akarma. Karma jyayo hyakarmanaha. Karma is much superior to akarma. Whenever you add this how do you interpret it? Dharma, adharma. Which means quite opposite. It is an antonym of dharma. Dharma is virtue. Adharma is non-virtue. Karma is practicing karma yoga. Akarma, should it not be abstaining for karma yoga? No. What the meaning meant by Krishna here is, Karma is karma yoga. Akarma is that which is different from karma yoga, which is jnana yoga. So, niyatam kuru karmatvam, karma jyayaha. Jyaya is superior. Karma jyayo hyakarmanaha. When compared with jnana yoga, which is known as akarma, karma yoga is much superior. Karma jnayo hyakarmanaha. Niyatam kuru karmatvam. This is the So, in the third chapter, Krishna establishes that this is your prescribed duty, you need to. Arjuna question, if I don't, what would happen? Na pandle. நீ இவ்வளவு தூரம் சொல்லிட்டு நான் பண்ணேன்னா அவர் ஏதோ அன்னைக்கு கேட்டார், நம்ம பண்ணவே இல்லை. அவன் பண்றவன் கேட்டான், வித்தியாசம் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். அவன் எல்லாத்தையும் பண்றதான் இருந்தான். ஆனா பண்ணலன்னா என்னன்னு கேட்டது எதுக்குன்னா நமக்காக புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். அவனுக்கு இல்ல இந்த கேள்வி. இந்த கேள்வி நமக்கு இப்போ பதில் கண்ணு சொல்றாரு. இப்போ ஏவம் பிரவர்த்திதம் சக்கரம் ந அனுவர்த்தயதீதி யஹ. One who does not contribute his might in rotating the wheels of this samsara. Evam pravartitam chakram. This is a pravartitam chakram. This is a rotating wheel. Bhagavan has created this rotating wheel. He says so in the third chapter. Anena prasavishyadham. O devas, I created you. O human beings, I created you. Devan bhavayata anena. Te devan bhavayantunaha. Parasparam bhavayantaha. Shayah paramamapsyata. I created the devas and the human beings, and there is an excess between them. The human beings would offer them oblations, and in turn the devas would feed them with paddy, with rice, with rain, and with what not. So you cooperate. You need to coexist. This is for what I have created. Appa Arjuna kekrar, how does this wheel rotate? Krishna explains, Annat bhavanti bhutani, parjanyat anna sambhavaha. Yajnaha parjan, annat bhavanti bhutani. All the human beings are protected by anna. Without food, they can't live. Annat bhavanti bhutani. Parjanyad anna sambhavaha. And with rain, paddy gets grown. And all cultivation is because of rain. Parjanyat anna sambhavaha. Food grows as a result of rain. Yajnaha. And how does it rain? It rains because of yajna. I need to perform the yajna for raining. Yajna brahmodbhavam vidhi. Yajna karma. If I have to do my yajna, I need to do my karma. If I have to do my karma, then karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. Karma is possible only with a sharira. And sharira can be directed only by an atma. So, let's establish the chain now. It is atma who has been blessed with a sharira. With the sharira, he performs many actions which are karma. And one of that karma is yajna. As a result of yajna, it rains. As it rains, there is food. And with food, all human beings are protected. And this is how I have created this wheel, Arjuna. You are there in between. If you don't play your part rightly, what would happen then? Yevam pravartitam chakram na anuvartayati tayaha. Whoever does not play his part, whoever does not contribute, aghayuhu, indriyaramaha, aghayuhu, he has a wasted life. Aghayuhu, he wastes his entire life because I don't like him at all. Because he has not acted as per my wish. Aghayuhu, indriyaramaha, moham gacchati. And he is confused. He is born again. He is never liberated. Anala, we need to play our part in rotating this wheel. Anala, if you don't perform karma yoga, then we have not played our role. If you don't play, it's a curse of Krishna. Aghayuhu, indriyaramaha, moham partha sagacchati. And sagacchati, he wastes his life. Moghashaha, moghakarmanaha, moghajnanaha, vichetasaha. They have wasted their life. They are not going to accomplish in their mission. Their objectives are lost. They lose the whole show and they are damaged. The very purpose of their birth gets defeated. And the third chapter, Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam Karmajyayo Hyakarmanaha. Krishna further adds, look at me, Arjuna. Can I abstain? These karmas do not leave me too. I am born here. I am not affected by any karma. I need not perform anything. Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana. In this whole universe, there is none who can direct me. None who can question me. There is no karma that affects me. But still, I have been performing my karma. Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana. Even then, nanavaptam avaptavyam vartayevacha karmani. I have been practicing my karma. Why should I drive your chariot? Why should I nurture your horses? Whenever they need to be fed, I stop this and I feed them rightly. Ennikanada kulipadu vidada irundipena. Yedana vittirpena. Maadu mekkiradhu pogiradhu oru naal illada irundipena. நான் என்ன மாடு மேய்க்கிறவனா? பிறந்தேன், உலகத்தையே மேய்க்கிறவன் நான். ஆனாலும் நான் மாடு மேய்க்கிறவனா பிறந்திருக்கிறச்சே மேய்ச்சேனா இல்லையா? ஒரு நாள் அதுல இருந்து நான் விலகினேனா? இன்னைக்கு உனக்கு தேர் ஓட்டின்னு ஏத்துனுக்கச்சே தேரை ஓட்டினேனா இல்லையா? ஒரு நாள் மாட்டேன்னு சொல்லியிருப்பேனா? ஒரு நாளும் கண்ணன் கையிலாக கொடுத்து அர்ஜுனன் இறக்குறார். அர்ஜுனன் மேல உட்காந்துருக்கான். அவனுக்கு இப்படி கையை கொடுத்தா கண்ணனுடைய இந்த இடத்துல காலை உதச்சிட்டு அர்ஜுனன் கீழே இறங்குறான். பார்த்த பீஷ்மருக்கு பதறாரு. அவர் யார் தோல்ல யார் காலை உதச்சின்னு கீழே இறங்குறதுன்னா கண்ணன் சமாதானப்படுத்துறார். நான் வேலைக்காரனா ஏத்துனுட்டேன். And that's my duty. No, I will not have, I will not abstain from that. யாரா இருந்தாலும் பிரம்மமாகவே இருந்தாலும் நானவாப்தம் அவாப்தவ்யம் வர்த்த ஏவச்ச கர்மணி. அப்ப என்ன பாரு, you need to do your duty. ஒன்ன பாரு, look at you, realize yourself, you need to do. Think about me, you need to do. Think about the people who are going to follow you, you need to do your duty. அதனால at any cost you cannot abstain, you need to do. இத third chapterல சொல்லி முடிச்சிட்டார். Then fourth chapter came. Krishna thought, I am not enough confused Arjuna, so let me add further. அங்க ஒரு ஸ்லோகத்துல சொன்னார், கர்மணி அகர்மய பஷ்யேத் அகர்மணிச்ச கர்மய சபுத்திமான் மனுஷ்யேஷு சயுக்தா கிருஷ்ண கர்ம கிருத். In the second chapter we saw that karma yoga leads to jnana yoga and eventually to atma sakshatkara. There was a confusion. He also said durenaki avaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Then in the third he changed. He said that karma yoga would directly lead to atma sakshatkara. There is no need for jnana yoga. Of course karma yoga is superior to jnana yoga. That's the right prescription for you. Go ahead. இதெல்லாம் மூணாவது சாப்டர்ல சொல்லிட்டார். In the fourth chapter he said that karmani akarmaya pashyet akarmanicha karmayaha. One is able to visualize karma in jnana and jnana in karma is the smartest. Karmani akarmaya pashyet akarmanicha karmayaha sabuddhiman. He is the one realized. Yuktaha krishna karma kird. He ought to have done all that is to be done for realization, for liberation. Arjuna thought, what is that? Looking karma into jnana and looking jnana into karma. Karmani akarmaya pashyet. One who is able to visualize jnana in karma and karma in jnana. What does that mean? When I perform something, it is karma. It is pure physical action. Karmani. In that karma, akarmaya pashyet. Akarma is that which is different from karma, which is jnana. This does not stand for jnana yoga. Akarma here does not mean jnana yoga. It simply means jnana. Karmani akarmaya pashyet. One who is able to realize the atma jnana in karma is the real doer. He has understood that. Because without atma jnana, you cannot perform anything. Karmani akarmaya pashyet. Akarmanicha karmayaha. One who is able to, in jnana, when he practices jnana, akarmanicha karmayaha, if he realizes karma, which would mean, even when I practice jnana yoga, to sustain, I need to perform karma. So one, he realizes that. Another karma pannindukracheve, without atma jnana, I cannot act. Ada purinjunuta, karmani akarmaya pashyet. Jnana yoga me irunda kuda, how can I practice jnana yoga without karma? Appdinu therinjuta akarmanicha karmayaha. So, what is the conclusion? Conclusion is, so karma yoga is indispensable to even a jnana yogi. Arjuna, you perform karma yoga. அவர் அந்த பல்லவி அனுபல்லவியை மட்டும் விடவே மாட்டார். எத்தனை தரம் பாடினாலும் திரும்ப திரும்ப அதை பாடியே தீர்த்துருவோம். அதுக்கு எந்தெந்த விதத்துல சப்ஸ்டியான்ஷியேட் பண்ணணுமோ அதை சொல்லி சொல்லி திரும்ப கொடுத்துருவோம். கர்மணி அகர்மய பச்சேது அகர்மணிச்ச கர்மயா சபுத்திமான் மனுஷ்யேஷு. He is the cleverest out of all human beings. Sabuddhiman manusheshu yuktaha yuktaka krishna karma kritu. Whatever to be done for liberation he has done. இது வரைக்கும் கூட புரிஞ்சுட்டான் அர்ஜுன். இதுக்கு அப்புறம் ஒண்ணு சொன்னா பாருங்க, ரொம்ப ஆச்சரியமான ஸ்லோகம். In fourth chapter, ஸ்ரேயான் ஸ்வதர்மோ விகுணஹ பரதர்மாத் ஸ்வனுஷ்டிதாத் ஸ்வதர்மே நிதனம் ஸ்ரேயஹ பரதர்மஹ பயாவஹ. Then ஸ்ரேயான் द्रव्यमयात् यज्ञात् ज्ञान यज्ञः परन्तप सर्वं कर्माखिलं पार्थ ज्ञाने परिसमाप्यते. All karmas finally resort to jnana. Jnana is much superior to karma. Sarvam karmakhilam partha jnane parisamapyate. All the karmas, all your physical actions, they resort, they finally blend with jnana. Sarvam karmakhilam partha jnane parisamapyate. So, you resort to the jnana. முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. இதுக்கப்புறம் அவர் குழப்பறதா இல்ல. இப்ப நம்ம இந்த மூணுத்துக்கு என்ன அர்த்தம்னு பார்க்கணும். சர்வம் கர்மாக்கிலம் பார்த்த ஞானிய பரிசமாப்யதே ஸ்ரேயான். This is supreme. Which one? Shreyan dravyamayat yajnat. More than a material oblation. Dravyamayat yajnat. I perform a yajna which is material. நெய்யு பாலு தயிர் எல்லாம் குத்துறானு இல்லையோ. திரவியமயாது யஜ்ஞாது ஸ்ரேயான் is supreme. ஞான யஜ்ஞ பரந்தப. ஞான யஜ்ஞா is supreme. Of course, it is superior to the dravyamaya karma. Shreyan dravyamayat yajnat ஞான யஜ்ஞ பரந்தப. Why? Because finally all physical actions resort to only jnana. What does this mean? இதுக்கு அர்த்தம் ரொம்ப சிம்பிள். Krishna is not advocating here that jnana yoga is superior to karma yoga. No, not at all. What does it mean? In the ambit of karma yoga, you have two parts. Any karma yoga has two constituents. One is a physical action constituent. Two is a mental realization constituent. The rendu undu. நான் ஒரு கோவில பிரதட்சணம் பண்றேன். Suppose I am circumambulating. நான் சுத்தி வரேன்னு இல்லையோ. That physical action is one part. At the same time, simultaneously, I must think that pradakshanam is prescribed in the Shastra. I am a servant to the God. So I need to circumambulate. By this I am pleasing my God. I circumambulate only for that purpose, nothing else. In the Jnana Parva, this realization. That is another part. So there is a physical part and there is a mental part. But Khanda enna solrarna? If you compare these two, idukulle Shreyan Dravyamayadu Yajnadu Jnana Yajna Parantapa. The mental part is superior to the physical part. Krishna is not comparing Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. He is only comparing the two components of Karma Yoga. There are two components to Karma Yoga, physical and mental. Shreyan Dravyamayat Yajnadu. நான் பெருமாள் யாருன்னே தெரியாம பட்டுப்படையா எடுத்து பூர்ணாவதியில போண்டே இருந்தா. தயிரா கொட்டுறேன், பாலா கொட்டுறேன். ஒரு விக்கிரகத்தை கையில பிடிச்சிருந்தேன். 108 லிட்டர் பால் தள்ள கொட்டிட்டே இருக்கேன். நான் இப்ப சொல்லச்சே தள்ள கொட்டுறேன்ற பாருங்க, அவ்வளவுதான் எனக்கு ஞானம் அந்த விக்கிரகத்தை பத்தின்னு அர்த்தம். ஏன்னா திருமஞ்சனம் பண்றேன்னு கூட எனக்கு புரியல. தள்ள கொட்டுறேன், அதனாலதான் அப்படி சொன்னேன். அது தலையில கொட்டுறேன்னு நினைச்சிட்டு திருமஞ்சனம் பண்ண வேண்டாம். அது விக்கிரகம் பெருமாள், அவருக்கு நான் கைங்கரியம் பண்றேங்கிற ஞானமே இல்லாமல் எத்தனை லிட்டர் பாலை கொட்டியும் பிரயோஜனமே இல்லை. அந்த ஞானம் ஒழுங்கா இருந்ததுன்னா பாலை கொட்டவே மாட்டான். எத்தனையோ குழந்தைகள் பாலுக்கே இல்லாத தவிச்சிட்டு இருக்கு. ஒழுங்கா 1 லிட்டர் பால் அவருக்கு சமைச்சுட்டு மிச்சம் 107 லிட்டர் கொண்டு போய் பிள்ளைகளுக்கு கொடுத்தா பெருமாள் ஆனந்தப்படுவார். அதை விட்டுட்டு குடங்குடமா பாலை கொண்டு போய் எங்கேயோ கொட்டிட்டு தான் என்ன லாபம் சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. சாஸ்திரத்துல திருவாராதனம் பண்ணு, அபிஷேகம் பண்ணுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒன்னும் 108 குடம் கொண்டு போட்டுன்னா அது சொல்லவே இல்லை. நாம இதெல்லாம் எக்ஸ்டெண்ட் பண்ணிக்கிறது எதுக்குன்னா, people what they believe is all my wrong deeds, all my wrong actions can be nullified by filling up the undial of பெருமாள். இது எல்லாரும் நினைச்சிட்டு நான் என்னென்ன தப்பு வழியில சம்பாதிச்சனோ கொண்டு போய் திருப்பதி உண்டியல்ல போட்டா எல்லாம் சரியா போச்சு. போகாது. விதுரர் நீதி சாஸ்திரத்துல திருத்தராஷ்டிரத்துல சொல்றார், never believe Dhritarashtra that you can nullify your wrong deeds. They don't happen. நீ என்ன கெட்ட வழியில சம்பாதிச்சியோ அதே கெட்ட வழியை திருத்தினாலே ஒழிய there is no salvation to you. எத்தையோ பண்ணிட்டு எதையோ அதுக்கு திருப்பெல்லாம் பண்ணவே முடியாது. பிராயசித்தம் ஆகவே ஆகாது. மேலும் அப்படி சம்பாதிச்சுன்னு வச்சுன்னு கோவில் உற்சவம் பண்ணாலும் அது பிராயசித்தமே இல்லை. That is also not agreed by Vidura. Anale, these are all certain basic principles which we must understand. Anale, there is one component which is the action part, which is physical part, and other which is the mental part. This mental part is superior to the physical action. Adanale, Shreyan Dravyamayadu Yajnadu Jnana Yajna Parantapa. Why? Because Sarvam Karma Kilam Partha Jnane Parisamapyate. All your physical actions finally resort to that revelation. It resorts to that jnana. So, construe that the jnana is superior to karma. Without the jnana, don't practice karma yoga. Adha solla vararu ipo Kannan. Ana what he implicitly tells Arjuna is, you fight for the sake of fighting, not to enjoy this kingdom. Yeah? You are warring to establish dharma, and that should be your knowledge and realization. Adha uttutu, if you are going to relate your action of fighting, of shooting an arrow to enjoyment of the kingdom tomorrow, then it is wrongly matched. That is for a low human end. Instead, for Atma Sakshatkaram, if you wage a war, then I calculate it differently and I reach you to Shiva Ikutta. Anale ஒரு சண்டை போட்டா போய் நமக்கு ஆத்ம சாட்சாத்காரம் கிடைக்குமான்னா, ஆத்ம சாட்சாத்காரம்ங்கிற பலத்துக்காக செய்தா கிடைக்கும். அதனால அந்த பலத்தை எதுக்காக பண்றோங்கிறது முக்கியம். ஸ்ரேயான் திரவியமயாது யஜ்ஞாது ஞான யஜ்ஞம் பரந்தப. The mental portion is much superior to the physical action. அதனால இந்த இடத்துல ஞான யஜ்ஞம்னு சொன்னது ஒரு காம்பனண்ட் ஆஃப் த கர்மயோகா. அந்த கர்மயோகத்தில் இருக்கிற 2 காம்பனண்ட்டுக்குள்ளே ஞானா காம்பனண்ட் is superior to the karma component. Finally, with all this, with the second, third and the 4th chapter, what do we conclude? The only choice is karma yoga. That's what we conclude. Anala karmamna parthom, karma yogamna parthom. And if you want to know the choices in karma yoga, there is also Krishna lists about 14 choices in karma yoga. Choose one of these, you practice this. Pranayamam is one, Vedadhyanam is one, Tirtha Yatra is one, Deva Puja, deity worship is one. There are many more. Krishna lists about 14 Dravya Yajnaha, Jnana Yajnaha, Swadhyaya Jnana Yajnaha. All these are choices available. We can choose any and perform. But nothing can be in lieu of Nitya Naimittika Karma. That needs to be performed. Perform your Nitya Naimittika Karma along with 3 renunciations, and that matters as Karma Yoga, which finally leads to Atma Sakshatkara. With these words, I conclude today's session. If enna kelliko kedu. First our go to. No. Because the Vedas says so. Many, no? Where is the verse that he descended from Paramatma? That is on a curse. Jaya Vijayal are eternal, ever liberated souls. They are not Baddhatmas at all first. They are Nityatmas. Nityatmas descended here out of a curse of Sanaka Sanatanadigal. We have all not descended from Vaikuntham. Why should we descend? There is no reason. Where is the curse? Because karma is anadi. We have been here eternally. There is nothing contrary to prove that we have not been here eternally. There is no verse which says that all human beings descended from Vaikuntham. Yes, it is. It is. God is compassionate. God only paves the way for us to reach back Vaikuntham. That he does. If he had been compassionate, will he send us here? The same question now. Is he not compassionate? Will he send us here to this suffering? That itself will prove that we have been suffering here. He didn't send us here. It didn't start. It ever existed. That's why I told you. It didn't start. Where? Sri Vaikuntham is a bhumi where you cannot go wrong. It's eternal world. And it's not Sri Vaikuntham, it is Bhulogam then. How do you distinguish Sri Vaikuntham from Bhulogam? Where everything is liberated, where there is no ajnana, where there is no errors. That is why it is Sri Vaikuntham. Then it will as well be Bhulogam. Anga tappe panna mudiyadu. And it is an akarma bhumi. There is no influence of karma in Sri Vaikuntham. When there is no influence of karma, how could I commit a mistake? I cannot. There are 3 categories of souls. Baddha, Mukta and Nitya. Baddha is the bonded soul. We are. Mukta is the liberated soul who has a day been here and now liberated. Nitya is the ever liberated soul like Vishwaksena, Garuda, Ananta. Nitya Suris are ever liberated. Vishwaksena, Ananta, Adishesha, Garuda. Many more like that. There are too many people like that in Vaikuntham. All are ever liberated. They were never here one day and then reached Vaikuntham. They have always been there. The second category is the middle one. They have been here like us, and if I get liberated, then I am a Mukta. One who was liberated is a Mukta. Thirdly, one who is yet to be liberated. We are Baddhas. So there are 3 categories. Please.
Just once again. Tomorrow we'll start at 6:45.
Yeah.
Because of logistic issues.
Okay.
So 6:30 we'll do at 6:45.
Yes, please. It is Baddha Mukta, all the whole of Chandogya Upanishad there is. The whole of Brihadaranya Upanishad there is. Yennathigilla Bhagavad Gita la. Natve vaham jatunasam nattan neme janadhipaha nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve mayamatah param marge dve gati hyete shukra krishne marge dve, and through this marga Baddhatma reaches me. He becomes a mukta and he reaches me. If you have not here, how will you reach there? What is it? Never. Because there is no reason why you should come from there. No, you need not. This is not you or me who can conclude on this. No, Baddha is not always a Baddha. Yes, of course. Many. I'll give you. You give me. I'll quote many from Chandogya Upanishad and Brihadaranya Upanishad. I don't know, because if you want a quotation for physics from a chemistry book, and you are adamant on that, I don't know why. Because everything is Upanishad for us. That's all.
I have a very simple question to ask you.
Please.
And your knowledge on Brahma Yoga that you said today, I think is very different from my point of view.
Okay.
I'm sure it is different for different people. I have a very esoteric question to ask you with your knowledge of Veda. Nothing to do with karmas anymore.
Okay.
I've heard of it enough for 2 hours.
Yes.
I'm not.
Okay.
I have a simple question to ask you. In this esoteric physical world, can you give us some idea on what, according to you and Vedas, is the definition of or differences between ignorance, knowledge, and wisdom?
Yeah. Ignorance is ajnana. If I am not aware of self and Paramatma, it is ignorance. I may be aware of this tape recorder of this hall of this university. That is not jnana. Jnanam is jnanam about self, about Atman, about myself. That is removing ignorance and becoming jnani. But mere knowledge does not suffice to get liberated from cycles of birth. It is realizing oneself, realizing Paramatma, practicing bhakti yoga and reaching. That is wisdom. So ignorance is ignorance or non-knowledge about the self and Paramatma. Knowledge is knowing the essential nature about self and Paramatma. Wisdom is practicing the right path and reaching Paramatma.
Who actually makes a decision of measuring who is ignorant and who is not?
Me.
Or
nobody. Me.
Is it something like somebody learns knowledge and is less of knowledge?
You are your judge. Nobody else. I cannot say, because I can't enter you and see. It's only you. Tapu. Amam. ஆமாம், அந்தந்த வர்ண தர்மத்தில் இருக்குவாதான் அதை பண்ணணும். சரி, அதெல்லாம் சொல்லக்கூடாது. கீதையில இருக்க, இங்க மட்டும் இல்ல, மறுபடியும் உபநிஷத்துல எல்லாம் இருக்கு. Swadharma is, in fact, Swadharmam, Paradharmam has got two interpretations. One is Swadharma is Karma Yoga. Paradharma is Jnana Yoga. One should not. And I am not used to Jnana Yoga, so that becomes Paradharma for me. Another is Swadharma Jnana Vairagya Sadhya Bhakti Eka Gocharaha Narayanaha Param Brahma Gita Shastre Samiritaha and Yamunacharya who reference Kudra. Yamunacharya was the preceptor of Ramanuja. Our reference Kudukumbodhu Swadharma Sve Dharmaha Swadharmaha. The definition is my Varna Dharma is Swadharma. I am supposed to do only that, not of others. There was an argument. Swadharme Nidhanam Shayaha Paradharmo Bhayavaha Garche Swadharmam Gardu practicing Varnashrama Dharma. Paradharmam Gardu Innuttarude Dharma. For example, I am a Brahmana. I am supposed to practice my Varna Dharma. He is a Kshatriya. What is Arjuna telling? Let me practice the Dharma of a Brahmana. காட்டுக்கு போய் அவன் தபஸ் பண்றேன்னு நான் இல்லையோ, அது பிராமணன் பண்ண வேண்டியது. நாட்டுல இருந்து சண்டை போட வேண்டியது க்ஷத்ரியம் பண்ண வேண்டியது. He wanted to switch. கண்ணன் உடனே ஸ்ரேயான் ஸ்வதர்மோ விகுணஹா, ஸ்வதர்மத்தை நீ குறைச்சலா பண்ணா கூட அதுதான் பெட்டர், பரதர்மத்தை கம்ப்ளீட்டா பண்ணா கூட அது தப்பு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டார். இப்போ இதுக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இன்டர்பிரேஷன் வாஸ் ஸ்வதர்மம்ங்கிறது வர்ண தர்மம், அதாவது க்ஷத்ரிய தர்மம். அதை விட்டுட்டு இன்னொரு தர்மத்தை பண்ணக்கூடாதுன்னு கர்மா சொல்ற. அதை இன்னொரு தர்மத்தை நன்னாவே பண்ணா கூட அது கூடாதுன்னு கண்ணன் சொல்றார் அப்படின்னு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆர்குமெண்ட் வந்தது. ஆனா தட்ஸ் அன் இன்வாலிட் ஆர்குமெண்ட். பிகாஸ் இன்னொருத்தருடைய தர்மத்தை பண்ணலாம்ங்கிறது இருந்ததுன்னா தான் அதை முழுக்க பண்றது முழுக்க பண்ணாதுங்கிற ஆர்குமெண்டே வரும். இன்னொருத்தருடைய தர்மத்தை பண்றதுங்கிறது ஒண்ணு நான் அக்செப்டபிள். அதனாலே இந்த இடத்துல ஸ்வதர்மா அண்ட் பரதர்மா do not refer to வர்ண தர்மா, they only refer to கர்மயோகா அண்ட் ஞான யோகா. ஏன்னா ஞான யோகத்தை ரெண்டு பேரும் பண்ணலாம், பண்ணக்கூடாதுன்னு அங்க ஒண்ணு இல்லை. ஆனா வர்ண தர்மத்துல ஒத்த இன்னொன்னு பண்ணக்கூடாதுன்னு இருக்கு. அதனாலே இந்த இடத்துல ரைட் இன்டர்பிரேஷன் வாஸ் ஸ்வதர்மா would be கர்மயோகா அண்ட் பரதர்மா would be ஞான யோகாங்கிறது அங்க கன்க்ளூஷன். அது கூடவே கூட அது மனு தர்ம சாஸ்திரத்தில் இருக்கு. That's already proved. இஷ்ட பிராப்தி அனிஷ்ட நிவர்த்தி. இஷ்ட பிராப்தி and release from samsara is anishta nivriti. இது அனிஷ்டம். Samsaram is anishtam.
Fundamentally, I don't understand why moksha. Because if God creates the world, it's a labor of love. He wants you to enjoy self-realization, to be able to have the joy of being. And the joy of being can only be had when you are in the world. So that being the case, and there is this, the truth is like this beautiful in the world. So why moksha?
No. Why you assume that it is truth? It is not so. There is a lot of agony in this world.
No. When I say the world is perfect, the perfection is not defined as dukkha and sukha. Perfection is defined as there is nothing out there that is not part of God.
Everything is part of God. I don't deny that. But this world is not sukha rupa.
Why would God create a world? I don't understand why God would create a world.
Because we need to get liberated. இல்லன்னா எப்படி லிபரேஷன் கிடைக்கணும் எனக்கு? இப்போ நான் என்ன சொல் ஐயோ அப்படின்னா why a test match for you to given a cup? ஒரு கப் கொடுக்கறது எதுக்கு டெஸ்ட் மேட்ச்? நிறைய கப் கொடுக்கலாமே. டெஸ்ட் மேட்ச் இருக்கே. ஆட்டமே ஆடாது எப்படி கப்பு கொடுப்பா? I have to undergo something. Eternal, anadi, not a date. That's what we have been discussing for 2 hours now. And that is what you assume. There is nothing in contrary to prove that. இல்லையே, அதுக்கு தான் நான் முதல்லயே உங்ககிட்ட கேட்டேன். Is there a scientific statement which says that பிறந்ததுதான் போகணும், போனதுதான் பிறக்கணும்னு இருக்கா? இல்லையே. Spiritual statement says that anadi, ஆனா முடியும்னு இருக்கே. I don't experience. I don't. இல்ல, 1000 துக்கம் இருக்கு எனக்கு வாழ்க்கையில. அந்த ரியலைஸ் பண்ண உடனே you will only wish to reach மோட்சம். அந்த ரியலைசேஷன் வராதவே தான் நம்ம பேசுறோம். அந்த ரியலைசேஷன் வந்த அத்தனை ஞானிகளும் மோட்சத்தை தான் ஆசைப்பட்டிருக்கா. வைகுண்டம். That not death. Death is a small portion of moksha. அவ்வளவுதான். டெத் நடந்தா தான் கிளம்ப முடியும். No. Realizing about the world ங்கிறதே that this world is full of misery ங்கிறதுதான். No, the realization of Atman will not give you peace and joy. It is only the spiritual union with Paramatma will give you peace and joy. அது இங்க நடக்காது. ஏன்னா நான் கோவிலுக்கு போய் 1/2 மணி நேரம் அதை என்ஜாய் பண்றதுக்குள்ளேயோ என் வீட்டுல உட்காந்து half an hour மெடிடேட் பண்றதுக்குள்ளேயோ I am disturbed. I cannot continue it. So this is a temporary world. Nothing of your joy can continue here. They can't be permanent. அதனாலதான் I search for a permanent solution. உங்களுக்கே தெரியும் அது. உங்க வீட்டுல இருந்து if you want to enjoy Paramatma, how long can you do it? அதானே I want to extend that glimpse and make it permanent.
Uniting with God. There is no you to enjoy God.
No, I am not uniting. I am together with Him. I am there, He is there. Both of us are together, we enjoy together. Shoshnute sarvan kaman saha brahmana vipaschita. Saha is togetherness, not oneness. No beginning. That's what I am again and again telling you. There is no, it is an hypothetical statement. We assume that there is a beginning. There is no. அதுக்கு நேத்து நான் சொன்னேன். The Big Bang theoryல கூட அன்னைக்கு தான் தொடங்கித்துன்னு சயின்டிஸ்ட் சொல்றது இல்ல. They still have not concluded that was the day it began. They said they might be existing even before. After a cool down, Big Bang is there. அவ்வளவுதான் அவனும் சொல்றான். Forever they have been muktas. அதனாலதான் அவள்லாம் நித்யாஸ். Forever people are reaching Vaikuntham. அதனாலதான் அவள்லாம் muktas. Many have been living here like us. அதனால பத்தாஸ். They will ever elevate. Why do you worry? You are going to elevate. We will. And for that only we have come here to listen. That only we go through Gita. If not for that, then why Gita?
In your judgment, sorry about my voice.
Yeah.
In your judgment, do you think we have a limit into our thinking process?
Unlimited.
And who measures?
Only you.
In our Vedas, is there somewhere that you can say, unlimited means you have no measurement of time.
Our Jnana is infinite. But it is covered by time and place.
That's
A Jnani.
Very fundamental problem I have.
Yes.
Because I think, from my own perspective of thinking, in my many years of my whatever, I'm 64 years, I came up with a question, even today has not been answered.
Please, if I will try to. Please go ahead.
No, probably okay. There's no such thing as a finite time measurement in this world.
No.
And we have everything connected to a certain time.
Time is itself is relative. It's relative. It's not absolute. It is not absolute.
No, there's nothing absolute. There's no such thing as time.
Okay.
Within human thinking process.
We agree. ஏன்னா ராமானுஜரே எழுதும்போது what he says is Bhuta Kala, Bhavishyat Kala, Vartamana Kala are all relative because a future is when compared with present. A past is again when compared with present. If I change the parameters, then this future, present and past go haywire. Adunala, and having understood this, we must not believe that my jnana is finite. We must believe that it is infinite and try to improve on it. That's what we need to do. It is not limited by anything. Atman and Atma Jnanam cannot be limited by anything. And there are realized souls who can do anything they want.
That's exactly what
that is only our effort. That's only our effort. Exactly. We need to try more. We need to try harder.
There are human beings like that.
எத்தனையோ பேர் இப்போ 4 லோகத்துல இருக்க தெரிஞ்ச ஹியூமன் பீயிங்ஸ் இருக்கான். They were. And they are all recorded in history. Recorded in இதிகாச புராணா. நம்மால முடியல, பிராக்டிஸ் இல்ல, டெடிகேஷன் இல்ல, இருந்தா எங்கேயோ போடுவோம். Everyone is called, all Narayana is Achyuta. Yes, because he is the one. ஏன்னா முதல்ல Garuda is not my resort. My only ultimate resort is Narayana. நான் எல்லாரையும் ரிசார்ட் பண்ண மாட்டேன். One who never slips. அதாவது அவர் falls down இல்ல. Will I ever term Bhagavan that one who never falls down? Then I'll be debating on that. That is not the case. One who never allows anybody of his surrenderers to fall down. Nachuti, nachyavate iti achyutaha. The root of that word is, I surrender to him. He never leaves me in the lurch. He does not allow me to slip from him. It is not that he does not slip. He does not slip is well established. I don't need a name for that. If I go and resort to him, he never allows me to slip out of him. அது கண்ணன் மட்டும்தான் பண்ணுவார். அதனாலதான் அவர் அச்சுத்தன். ஏன்னா அவர் தான் மாமேகம் சரணம் வரஜா சொல்றார். இருக்கு. அதாவது வசிஷ்டர் யோக சாஸ்திரத்தை பத்தி நிறைய சொல்லித்தரார். ஏன்னா அந்த புஸ்தகம் இல்ல, தெரியாது, ஒண்ணுமே தெரிஞ்சாதானே சொல்றதுக்கு. புஸ்தகம் நிறைய போயிட்டு இருக்கும். ஆமா, இப்ப வைஷ்ணவ ஆச்சாரியர்கள் எழுதின நாத்துமணிகள் எழுதின புஸ்தகமே கிடைக்கல. நான் பாசுறது 823 AD, அதுவே கிடைக்கல. இப்போ வால்மீகி சமாச்சாரம்லாம் என்னைக்கோ நிறைய போயிட்டு. ஐயோ ஆமா, இது நேத்துக்கு முழுக்க பேசணும். நாங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் half an hour we dealt with that only. அவனுடைய வர்ண தர்மத்தை அவாவா பண்ணணும். அது அவனுக்கு வர்ண தர்மம். க்ஷத்ரியனா பிறந்தவன் தர்ம யுத்தம் பண்ணி ஆகணும். Now there is a tussle between dharma and adharma. நான் வயலன்ஸ் பண்ணவே மாட்டேன்னு சொல்லிட்டா அதர்மம் will reign over. That is not right for the citizens. நாளைக்கு என்ன ஆகும்னா the king will be violent. ஐயா, எத்தனை வயலன்ஸ் இல்லாம இல்லையான்னு எத்தனை அடிதடி நடந்தது. ஓகே, அவர் ஃபாலோ பண்ண பாத் நான் வயலன்ஸ். நான் வயலன்ஸ் யார் பண்ணணும்? நாட் அ க்ஷத்ரியா. க்ஷத்ரிய தர்மம் இருக்கே, அவனுக்கு சண்டை போடலாமே. அவன் தர்மத்தை தானே அவனை செய்ய சொல்றார். துரோணரை தப்பு சொல்லிட்டார், நீங்க சண்டை போட வந்ததே தப்புட்டார் கண்ணன். அது அவருக்கு ரைட்டு. ஆனா அர்ஜுனன் க்ஷத்ரியன், அவனுக்கு நான் வயலன்ஸ் இஸ் அ தர்ம, வயலன்ஸ் இஸ் அ தர்மா டு ஹிம். அது அவனுடைய தர்மா. அப்படின்னா அப்படின்னு சொன்னா இப்போ இவரை சுட்டது வாஞ்சி மணியாச்சி போய் சுட்டார, கொடிகாத்த குமரன் மணியாச்சி சுட்டதுக்கு வாஞ்சி மணியாச்சி ஜங்ஷன் இருக்கு இன்னைக்கு, ஆஷ் துரையை சுட்டதுக்கு. தட் வாஸ் வயலன்ஸ், பட் வி ரிவார்டட் ஹிம். அவர் பேர்ல ஜங்ஷனே இருக்கு இன்னைக்கு. தட் வாஸ் ரைட் ஃபார் ஹிம். வயலன்ஸ் இருக்கு. இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ் வார்ல யார் வயலன்ஸ் இல்லைன்னு சொன்னா? நிறைய இருக்கு. எத்தனை பேரை கொண்டு இருக்கும்? What is your dharma is right for you. If you are a brahmana, it's brahmana dharma that's right for you. If you are a kshatriya, your kshatriya dharma is right for you. Avulda. If you go and fight, it is wrong. If you are a born brahmana, I go and pick up a war, it's wrong. If I am a kshatriya, I can. And that too, if I do it for adharma, it's wrong. Non-violence is not a universal right. Yes, because it's only non-violence னு சொல்லிட்டா நிறைய தர்மத்தை எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ் பண்ண முடியாது. அப்படி நான் வயலன்ஸ் யூனிவர்சல் ரைட்னா ஒரு டாக்டர் ஆபரேட்டே பண்ணக்கூடாது. He operates. You bleed. உடனே என்ன நீங்க ஆன்சர் சொல்லுவீங்க? ஓ, that's for a permanent relief. அதேதான் நானும் சொல்றேன். இப்போ dharma is a permanent relief. To establish that only Arjuna is told to fight. ஐயோ, ரொம்ப இருக்கே. அவ ரொம்ப நாளையா பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கா. I think we have to close the hall. ஒன்னே ஒன்னு quick question. சரி, நம்ம அதான் இப்ப ரொம்ப நாள் அவள்கிட்ட அதான் பேசணும். இப்போ அதுக்குதான் நான் சொல்றேன், அப்படின்னு சொன்னால் அப்ப உலகத்துல நடக்கிற எல்லாமே அதுதானே. இப்போ நீங்க அரிசோனால படிச்சாலும் படிக்காட்டாலும் வேலை பார்த்தாலும் பார்க்காட்டாலும் ஒரு வேளை சாப்பாடு கிடைக்காது. போகாது, நிச்சயமா கிடைக்கும். உங்க அப்பா போடுவோம், அப்பா போடுவோம், யாரோ போடுவோம். எதுக்கு இதெல்லாம் வேண்டாம், நம்ம விடுறது இல்லையே. This is how this life is interesting, without which nothing would be interesting. What do we do then? ஒன்னு. ரெண்டாவது, இப்போ ஷார்ஜால புதுசா ஸ்டேடியம் கட்டி ஒருத்தர் அதுக்குன்னு கப்பெல்லாம் ரெடி பண்ணார் தெரியுமா? கல்ஃப்ல முன்னாடி கிரிக்கெட்டே கிடையாது. அதுக்கப்புறம் அங்க போயிட்டு ட்ரையாங்குலர் சீரீஸ் எல்லா சீரீஸ் எல்லாம் ஏற்பாடு பண்ணி எல்லாம் பண்ணார். அவர் புதுசா ரூல் எல்லாம் போட்டார். ஆசிபிக் வால் வாஸ் ஹெல்பிங் தேர். இதெல்லாம் நடந்து சொல்லி எதுக்கு? இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் ஃபார் ஆல், ஃபார் த வியூவர்ஸ், ஃபார் த பிளேயர்ஸ், ஃபார் த ஓனர், ஃபார் ஆல் த த்ரீ. So for me it's interesting, for God it is interesting, for the spectator it's interesting. One who is able to play well, he wins. It's a sport. There is no agony attached, should not be. It's a sport. இல்ல, நம்ம வர்ண தர்மத்தை கண்டிப்பா பண்ணித்தான் ஆகணும். இப்போ ஒரு க்ஷத்ரியன்னா ஆர்மியில சேர்றதோ என்னவோ பண்ணித்தான் ஆகணும். வைசியா கேன் டூ பிசினஸ் அண்ட் பிராமணா ஓரளவுக்காவது வேதாத்தியனம் பண்ணித்தான் ஆகணும். ரைட்? நாம பணம் போட்டு பிசினஸ்னுடைய எல்லா ஆஸ்பெக்டையும் வச்சு பண்றது தவிர்க்கிறது தான் நல்லது. ஐ டோன்ட் நோ ஹூ யூ ஆர், பட் ஐம் ஜஸ்ட் டெல்லிங். பிராமணன் இருந்தால் அப்ப அந்த பிசினஸ்ல இறங்கி பணம் போட்டு கடன் வாங்கி இதெல்லாம் பண்றது தவிர்க்கப்பட வேண்டியதுதான். We have ever remained as consultants. Nothing wrong in doing that. மந்திரிகளா இருந்திருக்கும், அட்வொகேட்ஸா இருந்திருக்கும், சார்ட்டர்ட் அக்கௌண்டன்ஸா இருந்திருக்கும், புறத்தையாருக்கு குற்றம் சொல்லிட்டு பணம் வாங்கிட்டு போடுவோம். ஓகே, யூ கேன் கண்டினியூ டூயிங் தட். வசிட்டரே அதான் பண்ணியிருக்கார், விஸ்வாமித்திரர் அதான் பண்ணியிருக்கார், எல்லாருமே அதான் பண்ணியிருக்கார். தட் யூ கேன். யூ பி எம்ப்ளாய்ட், போய் இன்னொருத்தங்கிட்ட சம்பளம் வாங்க போறோம், விச் இஸ் ஓகே. என்ன நீங்க பிசினஸ் பண்ணி தான் சம்பாதிக்கணும்னு பேரண்ட்ஸ் சொல்றாங்க? இல்ல, அது நீங்க தெரிஞ்சிருந்த அப்புறம் நீங்க ரியலைஸ் பண்ணியாச்சுன்னா யூ ஹேவ் டு செட்டில். அதெல்லாம் பார்க்க கூடாது. பேரண்ட்ஸ் கண்டிப்பா சுஷ்ரூஷ பண்ணணும், அவளுக்கு சர்வீஸ் பண்ணணும். அண்ட் அவ சொன்னாங்கிறதுக்காக நான் 10 லட்சம் சம்பாதிக்கணும்ன்றதுலாம் இல்லை, அது தேவையில்லை. அப்புறம் அதை பார்த்துட்டு ஏன் ஆத்மாவை யார் பார்க்கணும்? ஆத்ம ஞானத்தை பார்க்கணும், உஜ்ஜீவனத்தை பார்த்தாங்க. ரைட்.